All right, folks, tonight is the Select Board meeting of Monday, May 6, 2024. This meeting is being brought to you by the Select Board, and we are here this evening to go through several items on our agenda. I'd like to make an announcement. Announcement tonight is being recorded by MCM, and I'd like to also start by making a motion to bring this meeting into our public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly? Unanimous vote to open our meeting for business on May 6th, 2024.
Meeting is now in order. I'd like to all raise and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So I'd like to start by welcoming everybody here. As most of you know, this is my first evening as a chair to this board, and we have several folks in attendance this evening as well, and folks on Zoom. I'd like you all to appreciate the work that everybody does to sit in this room, and I'd like you also to realize that what we do on a day-to-day basis and our work we perform is something we do out of our feeling towards this town. So I want you to know that from my standpoint, and I'm sure I share that with my son. I'm a little emotional about it because there's been a lot going on in the last couple of weeks, and I feel it's really important that this town becomes more aware of each other as a neighborhood, as precincts, and we're all working for the same goal. So in light of that, I'd like to just share some remarks with all of you, and we're going to get this underway. So welcome to all our distinguished guests, friends, families, and residents. Sorry. Welcome our newest member, Eric Kelly, who won with 57% of the vote. I would appreciate it if we didn't have clapping this evening.
Come on.
It just becomes, okay.
Can you repeat that?
Can you not hear?
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, I said I appreciate it if we didn't clap this evening. Did you hear me say it the second time?
I did.
Okay, appreciate that. But I'd like to say that again. Welcome our newest member, Eric Kelly, who won with 57% of the vote, and we wish you the best in this new role.
Thank you.
And that, I truly mean that.
Thank you.
It's the best thing for the town. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the Honorable James Kilcoyne for his commitment to the 9 years of service to the Marshfield as a Select Board member and member of the Conservation Commission. The most important lesson that I have learned in the past 2 years as a Select Board member and the 8 years prior on the Zoning Board of Appeals was to listen and show respect for those that are speaking. The office of the Select Board sets the tone for a strong town. I will form thoughtful questions based on our current needs, but reflect on the goals of our town and our forecasts for the future. We must set the tone for all of Marshfield. I urge all to keep an open mind and think about that future. One cannot be a sound leader without listening. I have been in town hall and met with just a handful of folks in the past 2 years. The emails are minimal, and folks are not reaching out to ask questions like I expected, with the exception of our fire chief, Chief Simpson. We did receive a lot of emails in regard to that. Litigation is a real concern. We have 279 general town employees and 982 employees in our school system, with a total of 1,261. This is a big responsibility and requires a strong policy framework. As in any big business, the threat to litigation is real. I encourage my fellow board members to educate themselves and take this seriously. We individually are responsible for our actions and the impression we set is a reflection on our town. In light of this, I will spend time considering petition Article 19 of our annual town meeting, which asks the Select Board to add a public comment portion to our agenda. As I move forward as chair, I would also ask my fellow board members to do the same. The annual town meeting was a petition of Patricia Kelly et al. The business we perform in these chambers are critical and affect our municipality, our neighborhoods, families, and friends and businesses. Please be kind and allow this new board to become acclimated to a new dynamic of minds, all three of us together. Together, we will be respectful and offer decorum and remain committed to the town at all cost. I do this out of labor of love for my hometown and those residents in every precinct. My hope is that we can all work together for Marshfield. So this took a lot of time to put into words. I have a feeling of love for this town. I also have a feeling of fear for things that have been said and how we're going to move forward. And I would like to put my best foot forward, and I would like our board to put their best forward, and everybody that works for this town to put their best foot forward. So I have a year to do that. I'm hoping that we can all be together in that mission and get things started, and tonight is the first night. So bear with us as we kind of figure things out and get moving. So with that being said, I'd like to talk about the appointments this evening. We have an appointment on our agenda for 6:45. That is a poll hearing for Winslow Road. And the Select Board will be voting to continue this hearing at the request from the Chair of the Board of Public Works until May 20th, 2024. So I'd like the board to move to continue the poll hearing until May 20th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those,
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the postponement on Winslow Road until May 20th.
Excellent. So, since we have that little gap, I will please ask Chief Tavares to approach the board and share with us an update on Marshfield Police Department operations.
Thank you. Thank you to the board for allowing me to come in tonight. There's a lot of stuff been going on over the last year. I'll try to make it brief, but there's been a lot going on, so if you could just bear with me just for just a little bit. So this year, there wasn't a single grievance filed by the police union. This marks 29 straight years without a grievance and is due in part, in my opinion, to our unique hiring process and the supportive work environment we create. In addition to the lack of grievances, there's been no abusive sick time, no MCAD complaints, and no ethics complaints filed against the police department. And we've always historically collected 100% of our details. And there's a 10% surcharge that's added to all private details, and that goes directly to the general fund. Last year, it generated almost $70,000. Last year, we were ranked the 4th safest community in the entire country by Safe Neighborhood Scout, a division of Locations Incorporated. This was based on raw crime data provided by the FBI. So for the last 10 years in a row, we've been in the top 79 safest communities in the United States. In the last 7 years, we've been in the top 14 safest communities in the United States. The Marshfield Police Department has been long in front of the curve when it comes to development and implementation of police policies and procedures designed to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens we protect. We thoroughly embrace the 6 pillars of the principles embodied in the final report of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing and remain committed to professional conduct, democratic policing, and procedural justice for all people. Additionally, we volunteered to join the National Use of Force database run by the FBI to collect better data and analyze that. In regards to training, the department is currently working towards certification with the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission. Massachusetts is only one of 30 states which offers this certification, which is strictly voluntary and requires the department to adhere to 159 professional standards covering all aspects of policing. considered to be best practices in law enforcement. The department is currently in the self-assessment phase, which requires the department to thoroughly examine its current policies and practices and updates them when needed to meet with the MPCA standards. A large part of this is to train all officers on the new policies. Once self-assessment is complete, an external peer review by the commission will confirm the department if they're meeting those standards. So we have a scheduled visit July 15th through the 17th, where they're going to come and look at all our procedures and how we operate. Certification will provide town residents with even greater accountability and professionalism, is another example of our department's commitment to providing the very best service to our community. Unfunded mandates. In 2020, the Massachusetts Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission, Post-C, was established to provide justice, equality, equity, accountability in law enforcement. Post-C's responsibilities include oversight of complaint and disciplinary issues, the establishment of minimum standards for employment, and certifying the current officers meet those standards. The department has diligently fulfilled every Post-C requirement in accordance with their schedule established by Post-C. 2/3 of the department's officers have already completed the certification process, with the last third slated to finish by June of 2024. Additionally, all officers completed the annual in-service training. In regards to use of force, we monitor every single time any type of force is used beyond compliant handcuffing. A use of force team meets and reviews every case to determine if they acted within the law and policies and procedures. Last year, there were a total of 94 arrests, with 9 of those force was used. There were 11 protective custodies, force was used 0 times, and there were 34 people that had to be sectioned, either section 12 or 35. They were a danger to themselves or to others. Out of those 34, 8 times force had to be used. So that's a total of 17 times. And out of the 17 times, administration review revealed 100% compliance with the department policy. The use of force during arrests and protective custody has gone down. The use of force during mental health incidents has gone up slightly. Saturdays had the highest number of use of force incidents. 47% of the time force was used, alcohol or drugs were involved. In regards to race breakdown, force was used on 1 person of African American descent and 16 white. Gender breakdown, 4 females and 13 males. 4 females and 13 males. Physical force was used all 17 times. In addition to that, pepper spray was used twice, and 3 times we only had to display the taser. It was not used. During all those use of force, 3 officers were injured minor and 4 suspects were injured minor. In regards to court, we're seeing an increase in the summonses for the officers to attend court cases. We are currently working with the DA's office on 2 separate murder trials involving 3 different victims, and we expect those to go to trial this year. In regards to evidence and property, in May of 2023, we hired Pomeroy Resources Incorporated to perform a full on-site evidence and property review. All audits revealed a well-organized system with very competent evidence personnel. This June, we are scheduled for another on-site audit. De-escalation. Under post, officers are required to spend significantly longer periods of time on scene, exhausting all options to de-escalate situations. There's been a large increase in the amount of mental health cases we are responding to and requiring officers to spend more time on scene, in addition to follow-up services. The Marshfield Police Department is involved with the Plymouth County Hub. The Hub is a partnership with Plymouth County Outreach, which provides behavioral health services to residents of Plymouth County. The Hub brings together law enforcement, mental health professionals, and other necessary resources to provide services for Plymouth County residents who are dealing with mental health issues. When we respond to a mental health-related call, the involved party is supplied with mental health resources or referred to the Hub for a follow-up visit. Then Detective Davis performs an in-person follow-up along with a professional from the Hub. Services are provided, including counseling and treatment options. In regards to mental health, which I just mentioned was drastically up, in the last year, so from May 6th of 2023 to May 6th of 2024, we've responded to 544 mental health / well-being checks. The number of responses for well-being checks and mental health-related calls was most likely higher. However, they could have been reclassified as sudden deaths, overdoses, protective custody, or arrest based on their outcome. Detective Greg Davis and Sergeant Liam Rooney are involved with the Plymouth County Outreach, which is a collaboration of the 27 municipal police departments in Plymouth County. Oftentimes, when they go to the house, they offer treatment to the victim and also provide information on how to seek help at a later time if they decline treatment during the visit. They are also provided with Narcan kits and harm reduction kits. Our licensed health mental counselor, Jenna Cohen, has been with us for 1 year now, 1 year this month. We were fortunate to have her salary paid for by a reoccurring grant. She has been a tremendous asset to our team and has helped lots of our residents. She's had 268 interactions in Marshfield, resulting in 13 Section 12s, involuntary hospitalizations, and she has diverted 36 people from hospitalization. In regards to beach patrols, in the past, we've received reports of out-of-town kids causing trouble at Green Harbor Beach. In particular, this beach is very busy and requires a constant police presence to reduce and prevent the number of complaints and problems. Officers are assigned to patrol all of our beaches and to keep them safe. The patrol is around the clock, both day and night. Last weekend, we broke up a beach party with a fire with over 50 youths there that scattered upon our arrival. Fire department came and helped us put out the fire. In regards to the active shooter training, the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association released a 114-page school security, a best practice guide. In response, we created a new active shooter policy that calls for new procedures on how to enter warm zones with a rescue team consisting of both police officers and firefighters. This was designed to save more lives by treating victims while the contact team locates the threat and stops it. Each officer has completed 16 hours of training on this new policy, and we continue to train and meet together. And we have a future date where we'll be doing that again shortly. In regards to parades and major events, as a result of lessons learned around the country, there is a need to increase safety and security during these events. This results in more officers and plans developed to minimize the results of a bad actor. High-tech crimes. The Marshfield Police Department Detective Division continues to have the forensic capabilities to access, extract, and examine high-tech devices such as cell phones and computers. It has enabled our investigators to discover evidence as it relates to high-tech and traditional crimes. It also has been utilized to analyze cell phone data, which has led to the discovery of missing and/or endangered individuals. Narcotics cases. The Marshfield Police Department's Detective Division continues to work with the Old Colony Police Anti-Crime Task Force, along with several different federal agencies and state agencies. During the past year, the Marshfield Police Detective Division, OCPAC, and the DEA investigated numerous cases involving the trafficking of fentanyl and crack cocaine. And the most recent is an outbreak in counterfeit pressed pills, which often contain fentanyl. Most disturbing about the manufacturing and selling of the pressed pills that contain fentanyl is that they are often sold as commonly prescribed medications, prescriptions such as Adderall and Xanax. Many of these unsuspecting buyers have overdosed and in some cases, unfortunately, did not survive the consumption. The investigative process included, but were not limited to, numerous man-hours conducting surveillance, participating in undercover and confidential informant drug purchases, telephone and social media warrants, and making lawful arrests. We continue to participate in the Drug Enforcement Administration's Drug Take-Back Initiative, and we receive, on an average, of 500 pounds of unwanted prescription medication yearly. This participation has minimized these medications from being discarded into our landfills, water systems, and lessens the possibility of the noted prescription medications from getting into the wrong hands. The Marshfield Police Department is also part of the Human Trafficking Task Force Subcommittee. The purpose of this subcommittee is to share information, investigative tips, prosecution updates, case updates, and more, as well as allow the departments to come together to not only share information, but also to work collaboratively on investigations that overlap among various jurisdictions. The goal is to have representatives from all departments within Plymouth County, as well as support from state and federal law enforcement. The subcommittee meets on a monthly basis. In regards to the Emergency Operations Center, we are currently working on updating security and traffic plans for the Levitate Festival coming in July. In April, we had CISA, Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency, conduct a tabletop exercise related to a scenario at the festival. This exercise displayed a number of issues that we handled very well and a few where we can make improvements. We continue to work on our nuclear preparedness plans, and we are currently in the process of getting together with Dr. Thompson to update our CEMP, Community Emergency Management Plan for 2024. We'll be including fire, DPW, schools, and town hall in this planning as well. Sergeant Gonzalez and Lieutenant Shaw will be going over the Bulletproof Vest grant prior to the deadline, which is next month. Any new officers or officers who have expired vests will be receiving new ones, and hopefully we will get a 50% reimbursement from the grant. We are working with Officer DeMayo on our annual COPS grant we submit for. We will be seeking a grant for more officers as our population grows, as does our calls for service. We have completed the annual 911 grants, and we've received the first 2 of 3 components of this grant for the Training and Support Initiative. We will await word on the EMD grant, which was delayed this year but is now in and on time. We have recouped hundreds of thousands over the past few months from storms in 2015 and 2022. We are still pursuing damages and reimbursements from FEMA from 2015 and 2018 storms related to seawall damage. Our SRO program, school resource officers, do a fantastic job and participate in numerous after-school activities, including attending plays, games, parent-teacher conferences, and lots of others. Events. They truly have become a member of the school committee. This year, Officer Hernan received an award from the school department for performing the Heimlich maneuver to save a choking middle school student. Last Friday was High Five Friday, where officers went to all the schools and greeted them on their way into school. With summer approaching, we will be reminding all liquor-serving establishments of their responsibilities and our expectations of them. This year, all establishments are participating in the designated driver program. We are working on a presentation to give the owners and managers of bars and restaurants around the holidays and prior to the summer. We continue to work closely with Eversource and Verizon to ensure our power issues are addressed as rapidly and safely as possible during natural disasters. The past few winters, we have had a couple of minor issues that I believe were addressed sufficiently with in-person meetings with Eversource, Verizon, DPW schools, fire department, and town hall. We have a new notification system that Detective Goodwin and Lieutenant Shaw are working to update with even more numbers in order to alert citizens of emergencies. This system is owned by the town, and it's called RAVE. We also have the reverse 911 system to fall back on in case of an emergency. The Emergency Operations Center has effectively been utilized for numerous training exercises and meetings over the past year. We anticipate summer being a very busy one, with July 3rd and 4th followed immediately by Levitate on July 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then a short break before the fair starts. We've been planning since January for these events, and we will be well prepared. We have submitted letters to both the the Massachusetts State Police and the ABCC requesting assistance with bomb technicians and dogs and alcohol compliance checks during the Levitate Festival. We continue to be part of the Metropolitan Law Enforcement Council, also known as MetroLEC. It's a regional mutual aid committee formed by 48 police departments. The Marshfield Police Department is a member agency. We pool resources to provide SWAT, K-9, hostage negotiation, computer crimes, motorcycle, bicycle, special maritime response unit, peer support, and other units to help each other. We continue to operate the Safety Net program. This assists law enforcement locating individuals who tend to wander due to medical conditions such as autism or Alzheimer's disease. These free services include tracking device bracelets affixed to the patient's wrist. Detective Goodwin and School Resource Officer Cleary were certified through the FAA to operate unmanned aircraft systems, our drones. The Detective Division currently has 2 available drones, one of which is equipped with FLIR thermal imaging technology, so we'll be able to see at night. We've had several drone deployments for the purpose of search and rescue and security purposes. We will continue to enhance our community policing efforts. This year, we raised approximately $125,000 for Cops of Kids with Cancer. We participate with the Boys and Girls Club, sporting events, and other events all around town. In regards to our animal control operation, we continue to offer 6-day-a-week service in addition to on-call availability to assist residents in emergency situations when they arise. Our shelter is still a no-kill shelter. And with the help of Friends of Marshfield Animal Shelter nonprofit, we're able to vet, board, and eventually adopt all domestic animals that were temporarily housed there. Our staff of 2 full-time animal control officers handle day-to-day calls for service and shelter maintenance with the help of a dedicated team of volunteers. Our shelter is currently being painted inside and out with some repairs to the kennel fencing coming soon. Our animal inspectors finished all barn inspections throughout last fall and winter and continue to quarantine the animals year-round and report back to the state. We're glad to report that no domestic or even wildlife animal that was quarantined or tested was positive for rabies this year so far, and last year. Our animal inspectors are continuously updating our barn inspections list with new properties that have livestock that require inspection. In regards to the beach operation, we're gearing up for another summer. We have hired back our returning employees as well as our new employees. This Friday, beach sticker sales will move from Town Hall to Rexham parking lot for the season. Our operation starts Memorial Day weekend, weather depending, with lots open, with lifeguards on the beach and the snack bar open each weekend, and then 7 days a week come mid-June. Along with that, our work crew has begun installing the Moby mats for beach access and handicap access to prepare for the beach weather. As we prepare our beach areas, we continue to collaborate with the state, ensuring that no piping plover habitat is destroyed or disturbed. In regards to the Harbor Master Department, to date, the Harbor Master has received over $5,817,121 in grant funding. In addition, he was able to secure over $1 million in surplus government property. He has also just applied for a $7.1 million grant for port infrastructure. We are awaiting award notices. There's a lot going on down there. I've been told that the Green Harbor State Boat Ramp project that was scheduled to be done quite a while ago is now going to be ready a week from Wednesday. So a week from tomorrow, it should be open. In regards to the Green Harbor new commercial boom, the new commercial boom is in the process of being fabricated. We also met with MICFA president and a few other fishermen 2 weeks ago to look at modifications of the existing North Pier boom. We will also be installing a new galvanized ladder near the South Pier boom. The Green Harbor Jetty project. The United States Army Corps of Engineers is conducting an internal review. I'm hoping over the next few months they will provide a comment feedback period on the current process and projected outcomes so that residents are informed. Green Harbor dredging. We are still awaiting a decision on when and who will be dredging the shoaled area of the harbor entrance. There's approximately 1,200 cubic yards to remove. The harbor was dredged, but it wasn't dredged sufficiently toward the narrows, so there's a buildup there, and we're anticipating that to be removed hopefully before the end of June. The United States Army Corps of Engineers did a survey last week. I'm awaiting the results of this. Some folks have said that the entrance to the channel has some shoaling conditions. If the survey does show any shoaling, it would be included for removal along with the remaining 1,200 cubic yards. The Ridge Road Boat Ramp project that was supported at town meeting last Monday night, we've continued with the permitting process. There will be a public meeting on site of the boat ramp on Tuesday, May 7th at 5 p.m. to seek public comment and to gather any suggestions from the residents on this project. Line painting was also completed last weekend in the lot. Damon's Point dock project, a town meeting last Monday night, the Damon's Point docks were supported. We will prepare a bid package to get the docks replaced as soon as possible. Further permitting of Damon's Point project will come. The Northeast Bluefish Showdown Tournament is scheduled for June 26th through the 30th of 2024. That's going to be a big event. It's all the way from Maine down to Cape Cod. There's going to be 3 weigh stations, and Marshfield's going to be one of them. The North and South River shellfish beds, we will be conducting a shellfish propagation project for the North and South Rivers again sometime in June and July based on shellfish availability. And we have completed the first Safe Boater course last week, April 22nd, 25th, and 26th. We had 43 students in the class. The next class is May 13th, 15th, and 17th. All classes are held at the Maritime Center Training Room. This year marks my 36 years working for the town of Marshfield. I am extremely thankful to the town administrator and select board for their support to continue our long-standing tradition of providing professional police services. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. 36 years.
Yes.
You don't look a day over. We'll just leave it at that. So
Thank you.
right back at you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair. Would anybody, would you like to?
That's okay, yeah.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Chief DeVars, I know that it can be challenging at times, but how have you been able to manage the overtime budget for the police department from 2020 onward?
We continue to look at that every 2 weeks from the very start. We forecast what we need for training, and that's carried out throughout the year. And if it looks like we're going low, we work with, within our union, and instead of taking overtime, sometimes they'll take comp time, or they'll change their shift so that they're not on overtime or comp time. But everybody's bought into, what's best for the town and what's best for the police department. So we've never had a problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah, I do. A bunch of questions, actually. The 10% surcharge, that's on a private detail?
Yes,
And so that goes back into the
general fund.
general fund? When was that established?
Long before my time,
So it's before your time?
yes.
Okay. The post C we're talking about there, what was that again?
The post C,
Yeah.
it's part of certification underneath the new police reform law, and it requires every officer to be certified every 3 years. And it started off with the first year with the first third of the police department had to be certified, and it went in alphabetical order. Then the second, third, and now the last third is being done now, and it has to be complete by the end of end of June.
So how does that work? Like, with this, what is it, a new board that oversees all the
Yes.
police departments?
Yes.
So what is their role? What say do they have in regards to disciplinary measures?
So it's actually great because before this existed, you could be a police officer and have a bad history and be let go from one police department and get picked up someplace else. And right now, they have the authority to decertify you. You have to be certified. That's the first step. Everybody's being certified. But then if you have disciplinary problems that rise to the event that they decertify you, you can never be a police officer anywhere ever again. So they make sure that you're up to date on all your training. All complaints have to be forwarded to them and thoroughly investigated, and then they can investigate them if they're not satisfied with the outcome themselves, and they can take disciplinary action against you, including decertification.
How confident are you in regards to them not having, as we all know, that the political sphere is very hot today, I guess you could say. And this whole commission was established, what, a year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago, but it's been in the process. It's, they've been understaffed, and they got flooded with, they wanted every complaint from every police department, so they had reams of paperwork in front of them. So the reality of getting through all of it, I'm sure would be difficult.
Right, so I mean, in regards to I think the reason why this commission was established and all that, I mean, I guess you say, how confident are you that they'll be fair across the board with all the police officers in regards to not letting their politics get in the way?
Well, yeah, that's a concern, but they tried to make the board up of, a retired police officer. They tried to get everybody from a different viewpoint, and there is an appeals process that's part of that. So I guess it's like anything. I'm happy to report that when we had to turn all complaints over to them, we didn't have any. So I'm very satisfied that we're not going to have a problem.
I'm glad about that as well. The mental health, were those all drug-related, or?
No.
Okay.
No, that's a whole separate, we have a whole separate way things are logged. We have overdose as a log item, and we have mental health cases. So mental health cases are typically people that are suffering from some type of mental illness or some type of mental breakdown.
Could that be them not taking the meds then?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's somebody that has, it's the mental health cases, the calls that we get are for typically somebody that's suicidal, somebody that's feeling extremely depressed, somebody that is asking for help. But yeah,
Do you know of those particular people, if they were taking medications or not, and they just stopped taking them and they got into that?
well, I think, yeah, so that, it's kind of a widespread topic, right? So there could have been people that have stopped taking the medication. There could have been people that haven't been diagnosed that should be on medication. There could be people that aren't taking medication but are self-medicating with other types of drugs or alcohol. But whatever the reason is, we deal with behaviors, and the hospital deals with whys. And if we find that they're a danger to themselves or others under Section 123, Chapter 123, Section 12, if they're a reason to, due to the reason of mental illness, we can take them against their will and send them to the emergency room. If they're a danger to themselves or others through Chapter 123, Section 35, they're a danger to themselves or others through either alcohol or drug use. They go to court and get examined by a doctor down at the courthouse, where then they can be forced into treatment.
All right, so when you respond to these calls, at the end of the day, you don't try and look into how they got to that state in the first place?
So we do try to figure out what's going on. When our social worker is with us, she has a bullet-resistant vest. She comes out on patrol. She responds to those calls with us. She tries to de-escalate the situation with us. It works lots of times. One time it didn't, and just recently an officer was struck over the head with a statue and was hospitalized and out of work for a while. And then she does follow-up with them. And whether she's there or not, if she's not working, she'll still do follow-up when they're back at the house. And she'll try to find out what the root cause of the problem is.
And with this social worker, is she a full-time employee with the police department?
So she, last May, we were fortunate, I applied for a grant, and she works 3 days a week in Marshfield. I had to join with 2 other towns, so I picked 2 smaller towns that I didn't think would have as many calls for service as we did. So I asked Duxbury and Norwell to join on with us. So she spends 1 day in Duxbury, 1 day in Norwell, and 3 days in Marshfield. My goal would be to have her full-time here in Marshfield, and eventually to have one person like her sometime in the future on every shift, because it's definitely needed. So she's paid for out of a grant from the State Department of Mental Health.
When you say that you get these calls and you have the social worker show up, obviously she's not working around the clock, so is she like an on-call person as well?
If she's working in one of the other communities during her regular work hours, she will respond to Marshfield. The other communities will bring her here.
So what happens when something happens?
Then there's a crisis team that we can call. And we also have officers that are CIT trained for critical incidents that are specially trained, and they're the first ones to be called there, unless they're not the closest.
All right.
Eric,
Yes.
I want you to be able to ask every question
Yep.
to the chief, but maybe it might be prudent for us to maybe have him come back for a subject of
Yeah, if you,
our
I will,
agreement or my recommendation, because we do have,
I know that, yeah.
I just, I know you want to get into the weeds, and I respect that. I honestly, I do
Oh,
respect
no,
that.
I can understand that.
So, but if you'd like to
Yes, I
address.
do have a pile of questions and all that, so.
Yes, I haven't, and we are already,
I totally
and
understand that.
did you know there's a game on tonight? Not that that has anything to do with the color of Kate Burke's sweater. I was gonna wear the same color, but I decided that I wouldn't wanna compete with her beauty.
I am,
Okay.
let's put it this way.
So let's
I would-
just,
I would
would,
oblige to you in regards to asking the chief to come back when the schedule's
okay,
like.
I'd appreciate it, okay.
Or if you'd like, I can meet with them in person.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in light of where we are you comfortable with that? Okay.
Keep it flowing. keep it
All right, all right. I do respect wanting to get into the weeds, though. So, Chief, we have so many pieces to the things that you are responsible for. Beaches, all of this. And the highlight for what I'm seeing at this particular moment is that we're going into graduation season. We've got a lot of kids getting off the school buses and going to be out in our neighborhoods all summer long. We have active shooting training that I want to see where you stand on that, and I want to see our fire department working with you on that and understand that process as well. So we have a lot of still open-ended things, and I know your agenda is daily, and it's always ever-changing, the goal line's constantly moving as well. So in light of where I stand right now, I'd like to ask you maybe to come back and a later, for a later meeting. Maybe it doesn't need to be you, maybe it needs to be someone else, but if that's okay with you, that's. how we'll
Absolutely.
Proceed. Do you have any comments?
I think that's
Does that
perfect.
work okay? So thank you for coming in front of us this evening. We appreciate everything and the,
You're welcome. Thank you for giving me the time.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
So, it is currently 7:10, and we also have another appointment for, it was for 6:55. And I was going to have our town administrator give our report between where we had the poll hearing canceled, but I think we're going to go right in to our deputy chief. So if you'd like to come forward. This is an update on recent fires and fire safety with Deputy Chiefs Corbo and Deputy Chief LaSava. So welcome.
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Deputy Chief Corbo and I were invited to speak tonight on a recent brush fire we had 2 weeks ago this Saturday on April 27th. It was a pretty stubborn brush fire. Just a few of the particulars on the incident itself. The call came into our fire alarm office over at Central Fire Headquarters at 2:26, which came from the Kingston Fire Tower, which is, I'm gonna guess and say it's probably about 15 miles away. So they gave us a heading on where the smoke was coming from. The duty shift responded. We were fortunate enough to have the whole duty shift in quarters, which means there was no ambulances at the hospital. So we had all members on duty responding to this incident. It took them a little while to find it until the Kingston Fire Tower called back and vectored us into exactly where it was, which was, if you see the map up there, it was off of Carolina Trail, Carolina Hill. Get into that in a second. We had 13 communities on mutual aid come in to assist us with this incident, between companies that went to the fire and companies that covered the town while we were at this incident, which the incident, like I said, came in at 2:26. The last unit cleared from this call at 19:45, so just a little over 5 hours we were dealing with this fire. And like I said, it was stubborn. It wasn't easy on us, so we thank those 13 communities greatly. They were of huge assistance to us. Once we established where the fire was, the location, Tom and I set up a unified command post, which means we had all the area chiefs, Marshfield Police. We had a unit from the Department of Fire Services rehab unit that will come on a second alarm and set up, and it's a place for firefighters to go into rehab, to rehydrate, get something to eat, rest. So we had that there. We had a very good established command post. Marshfield Police was there as well. They were a huge help. There was 2 officers that stayed at the command post the entire time, helped us with traffic if we needed a road shut down. We relayed that to them. They also, like the chief mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned it, but they did bring one of their off-road vehicles, an ATV 4-wheeler, to get around to the front of the fire because we were having some trouble locating it. So that was a huge help. Some of the hazards that we were concerned with this fire was the homes in the immediate area, but we were lucky enough that the wind was behind those homes, pushing away from it. So we took that as a win. The second biggest concern we had was the Carolina, or 728 Main Street, the Carolina Hill Shelter. This fire was pushing that direction, and that was of concern, not immediately, but as the fire progressed. That was something that was in the back of our head if we were going to have to evacuate. Luckily, we didn't. And then of lesser priority were the high tension lines. And if you see that map up there, that red area is where the fire was, the entire fire, which when it was surveyed was about just a little more than 20 acres. That black dotted line ahead of that fire is where the high tension lines were. Thankfully, it didn't get that far. Some of the obstacles that we encountered right off the bat with this fire was the terrain. If you see on the map there, you probably couldn't have got a worse place to have to fight a brush fire in town, just because of access. The water, you see where that is again. To get water to that fire was very tough because our hose lines didn't stretch that far. So it was a lot of breaking down hose lines off other trucks, reconnecting them, trying to get the water out there. And then, of course, manpower. We quickly realized after the first alarm assignment got there that we were gonna need more help. So the first arriving officer, which was Captain Smith, he was the shift commander that day, he got a little bit of a idea of where the fire was and how big it was, so he struck a box which brings off-duty people in to help to the scene. And then he realized that this was gonna be a little bit overwhelming to our resources, so he called through Plymouth County, what's called a strike team of brush trucks, which is all pre-planned, and they send us these resources, and we set up a staging area, and we work from there. After that happened, we still weren't making great progress with this fire. It was really tough, and the people in the woods were, for lack of a better term, taking a beating. So a second alarm was struck to get more manpower there, and we also got the DFS rehab truck there, which was a huge help. As soon as all that help started showing, we started making some progress in extinguishing this fire. A little further on into it, we realized we didn't have anyone in town to respond to other calls. So that's why a third alarm was struck, which brought in help from other communities to cover our fire stations. And luckily, during this whole incident, which is a rarity, we didn't receive one other call in that 5-hour period, which is very, Tom will agree with me, that's
I
not
was
the norm.
lucky, yeah.
So we had a little leeway there, but that's why we struck the third alarm. Once we started making progress on the fire, we were realizing we were getting it out. If you look at that map, the way we look at a brush fire and determine it is the back of it, or that section closest to Carolina Trail, we call it heel, and then a left and a right flank, and then ahead is the front of the fire, which is usually which way the wind's blowing. And what we try and do is get around to the head of that fire, cut it off from going any further. We were making some good headway doing that. Basically, how we found this fire, we were able to see it and know how we had to contain it was with drones. One of the area chiefs had a drone set up. We had our drone up, and we were able to see what we needed to do, where we needed to go. Like I said, this was a hard-fought fire, put out the old-fashioned way with manual labor and hand tools, a lot of shovels, rakes, brooms. We really couldn't get a lot of water out there. We had pressurized water cans that we get out, but those are about only about 5 gallons apiece, so we had to use them sparingly. Like I said, this was a total coordinated effort between all these communities, our police department, and the District 2, the DCI, District 2 Fire Warden, looked at this fire because it was pretty significant, and he's actually the one that made this map and surveyed it, and he called this a near miss. Had the wind been any stronger or taken a turn in direction, we would have been dealing with a different situation. And luckily, there were no injuries, and we didn't have a reflare, which we like that. We didn't get any calls in the middle of the night to have to go back there, so. And then just a few safety tips for this time of year where it is brush season. Keep an eye on the weather, especially the wind direction and the speed. Use caution if you're cooking outdoors, any kind of grill. Make sure that you have it if you can have it on a hard surface away from house or vegetation, it's a good idea. Use caution when operating machinery, especially machinery that creates sparks and heat. If you're parking your vehicle and leaving it running, be aware where you're parking it. A hot exhaust can easily touch off an incident similar to this. And when you're burning with a permit, which the open burning season in the state of Massachusetts goes from January 15th to May 1st, when you can legally burn with a permit, it's good, an idea to have a water source close by, like a garden hose or a bucket. And that's pretty much the synopsis of that. I know Tommy has, can give you his perspective.
I can just piggyback on what Mike has said. I arrived at the fire, I can go through a little timeline with you guys. Like Mike said, at 2:26, we got a call from the Kingston Tower that they were seeing some heavy smoke in the area of Furnace Street. And so Engine 2 at the time was tied up on a medical with our ambulance. So we dispatched our Engine 3, Engine 1, and one of our forest trucks to the scene. It actually took about 40 minutes to find the fire. It was a low cloud cover, white cloud cover that day, so that you couldn't see the white smoke billowing up over the trees. So it took some time to get there. And I want to say Captain Smith did an incredible job of getting things started. When Mike said we had to drop some hose line, we had to drop thousands of feet of hose line. The only way to get up on this hill was to lump hose and manually get up on it. So Pat did a great job as far as getting control of the scene, recognizing that we needed a second alarm right away, first alarm right away, and calling for the strike team. So he did a great job. When I got to the scene, we really weren't sure what we had yet. It first came in as a 200 by 200 foot area. We quickly realized that wasn't the case. So I got into the fire, started walking. I was trying to find the head of the fire, which Mike described, the deputy described, and I just kept going. I just kept going and going and going. And finally, I got to the head of the fire, and I seen two utility vehicles on the other side of the fire, and it was the police officers trying to locate it. I got some communication with Officer Morris, who was driving one of the UTVs, and he agreed to go out the way he came in and direct the first forest truck in the way that he came in. I thought that it was going to be a pretty smooth operation going that way. I quickly realized when I started descending the hill towards where the path was, that it was getting real thick, a lot of down trees, and Duxbury was the first brush truck on scene, and it took them, we didn't get water on this fire for a good 2.5 hours before they got up there. So basically, we were with brooms swatting the fire out, and it was labor intensive, it was hot, it was dirty, so that's why the third alarm was struck. And we had, in total, 13 towns with 38 pieces of equipment. And it truly was a teamwork throughout the towns. It was good to see. I mean, we don't get to work together all that much. We have fires that we go to, or they come to our fires, maybe get an engine or two. But to see the whole system work the way it was really awesome. And Mike took command when he got there with another couple of chiefs from out of town, and you would think they worked together for 30 years, the way everything developed. So it was good. And the reason it was called a near miss, as Mike said, as the deputy said, was we were within 140 feet of the houses on Carolina Trail and 500 feet of the Main Street homes. I'm sorry, 1,200 feet of the Main Street homes. So a little bit of gustier winds, we could have been in a lot of trouble. The warden, the state forest warden, when he came in, he said he's seen something on this fire that he very rarely sees. When you have terrain, fire moves very quickly going up a hill. very rarely does it go down a hill. We had fire going downhill, and it was unusual. He had a name for it, it escapes me right now, but it doesn't happen that often. And so it was a unique fire. And I just want to, in my conclusion, people think that we had a lot of rain this fall, so people say, how could there be a fire out there? And it all depends on the weather that day, the relative humidity, the wind direction, dryness, temperature, and it was kind of like a perfect storm. Everything just came into play, and but it was all in all, 5 hours and 19 minutes of work, but it was a pretty smooth operation. Thank you.
All right, well, I'd like to just say thank you to the fire department. There's been a lot going on in your fire department, and I appreciate it, and I know our whole board and our team all appreciates the work that you're doing over there, and it's kind of, maybe this was a little bit of a wake-up call to the things that we need to do in stages before something like this happens, but it seems like, based on what I just heard, we got the best-case scenario considering the factors that we were dealing with, and being able to identify what was going on quickly and mobilize the units that needed to be on site to help our community is, I mean, that right there shows that we've got something good going on, and I appreciate and commend you, and I know it was a hard job, and you're reeling from all the other things that are going on with other emergencies, and the fact that that was the sole job of that particular 5 hours that you were on site was just a godsend. So I appreciate and thank you for bringing it to our attention. And if there's any other things that are going on in your fire department as well as we move forward, I'd like you to bring it to our attention, even though Michael is usually in the loop, and we're also in the loop, but there's things that I just, it's the feel-good stuff, and luckily we got through this one unscathed, so I'd appreciate that. You have any brief comments? Because yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely. Could you explain the purpose and balance of mutual aid?
Sure. Most of the communities around us, smaller communities, we're what you might consider like a relatively smaller fire department as opposed to like a bigger urban area, metropolitan area. Through Plymouth County, we have what's called run cards, and they're predetermined, it's like a predetermined set of plans. When we call, they go right into this, and they send us what's already been pre-planned. So in an instance like this, and we're actually down a brush truck, the headquarters brush truck is our service. So it's extremely important, mutual aid, especially a large-scale incident like this. Rather than trying to have to come up with this all off the top of your head, it's basically one and done.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Eric?
I do have questions, but I'll keep them limited, and maybe they'll come back.
They will come back, I guarantee.
That's what I was saying, yeah. So we find out the source of how the fire started.
We didn't, unfortunately, is undetermined. Where we set up our command post was at number 27 Carolina Trail. There was some evidence that they might have had like a little campfire there the night before. It was extinguished. There might have been an ember that flew out of there, and this fire could have been smoldering overnight into the next day. And then when it caught that wind, it just did its thing.
So how well was it investigated? I mean, was it really looked into to see we could determine a source, or are we just looking at this is what we think it is?
That's what we think it is. It's kind of hard in that instance to locate the source. The DCR fire warden, the District 2 warden, that's something he can help us with, but at the time he wasn't available. He was on another large incident in Blue Hills, I think. Basically it's just asking questions if anyone saw anything. You know, the people at that address said they did have a fire the night before, but they extinguished it. So it's a tough to tell, given the area that we were working with.
So do you think that the DCF gentleman comes back, he might be able to help you look into it further?
He might be able to.
Could you do that?
Yeah, we're working with him right now. He's actually helping us.
He's very accessible,
Review this file.
Yeah, I'd like to know, I mean, because this is in the middle of nowhere, right?
yeah. Well, if I can
Absolutely.
piggyback, Eric, when we do an investigation into a house fire, it's a lot easier for us, because you can tell by training and everything, we pretty much know where the fire started. When you get a wildland situation like this with swirling winds, it's very difficult to determine. We usually know a general area of where it started, but it covers such a large ground that it's very difficult to nail it down.
I understand that.
Now, when the warden came out, he actually walked, the way he determined the acreage was there's a pocket calculator, for lack of a better term, that he uses, and he walks the whole perimeter of the fire and everything else. He investigated that extensively, and he wasn't able to come up with anything. We do have some pictures of that campfire setup that he was interested in looking into further.
Oh, so you have other, I guess, photographs or material
have
related to this?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you come back, if you don't mind sharing that,
Yep.
it'd be great. But I'll end it right there, for the sake of
Right,
everybody.
Thank you, Eric. So I'd like to commend you again on the successful outcome of this particular fire, and hopefully we will see the same successful outcome for every additional call we get. Is there anything you'd like to add, Michael?
I think it's great. I mean, I think it shows how well-trained the fire department is to handle something like that. That's not something we have every day. And, you know, to be able to get the fire department out there into that terrain, that's why it's important to have those four-wheel vehicles that can get out there.
Right, okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we take a 5-minute break.
Second?
Second?
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye,
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote for a 5-minute break.
thank you. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to come back into our Select Board meeting of Monday, May 6, 2024. The time is 7:37. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to return to our meeting of May 6th.
Excellent. So, so far we have done our appointments for the evening with the police department and the updates on recent fire and fire safety with our deputy chiefs Corville and LaSalva. We have not done our town administrator's report, so I would appreciate it if we would start there.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll try to be brief. Town Administrator report, had a meeting with Fred Russell regarding the blacksmith project and getting the necessary repairs in place, working with Cindy Castro in the Winslow House. Had a planning meeting with Sean Strobel, our treasurer collector, and Meg LeMay, our town accountant, regarding the warrant and the errata sheet for town meeting. Participated in DPW collective bargaining with Labor Council, Sean Patterson, our DPW superintendent, and Danielle Kerrigan, our HR director. Participated in a tour with Matt Zahler of MPZ Development and Mac Lane School Apartment Complex Capstone Community. That was a development over in Bridgewater that the Marshfield Affordable Trust went over to take a look at, that very successful project. And we were joined with Lynn Fiddler, our chair, and our housing coordinator, Karen Hahn, for the tour that day. Had a meeting with Andrew Stewart and Tim Williams to review the PPI CRS final report, needed to be filed by May 1st, 2024 with FEMA. Chaired my monthly department head meeting where we discussed early voting, parking at Town Hall modernization, Earth Day tree planting event, and the Employees Benefit Fair. Meeting with Lynn Fiddler to go over a number of issues and review town meeting. Participated in the advisory board meeting to review a number of outstanding articles prior to town meeting. Participated in a meeting with Sean Patterson, our DPW superintendent, to discuss the opportunity to use a portion of Chapter 90 funds to paint lines on the streets. participated in the CRS PPI community meeting to review the final plan and review everything that was outstanding so that it could be filed on May 1st by the deadline. Participated in CISO meeting with IT. CISO is the Chief Information Security Officer. It's a senior level executive who oversees an organization's information, cyber, and technology security. The CISO's responsibility includes developing, implementing, and enforcing security policies to protect our critical data. Participated in the moderator's meeting with the number of department heads to prepare for town meeting, reviewed seating, technology, lighting, and presentations. Had a meeting with Sean Strobel, our treasurer-collector, to review the necessary financial articles at the special and annual town meeting. Participated in the planning meeting with Sue Karen, who chairs the South River Park Extension. She's also on the Open Space Committee chair, to review the plans and time frame for this important project. Participated in the second Massachusetts Housing Partnership training with Shelley regarding the organization and development of the Marshfield Housing Trust. Had a meeting with Danielle Kerrigan and Meg LeMay to finalize the town accountant's contract. Participated in a seminar for aggregate electric with our consultants from Good Energy in preparation for May 7th, when Marshfield and 5 other communities go to market for new electric rates. Patrick Roach and Rachel Fernandez of the Good Energy was there representing Marshfield. And Marshfield, for those people that participate, we have the basic renewable energy requirements. We have an added 10% more renewable, and then you could have 100% renewable. Participated in videotaping with NCM regarding Grant Rock launch ramp. It's being replaced by the Commonwealth. Participated in an on-site meeting with Winslow Extension with the DPW and Conservation regarding necessary repairs to correct the slope, large cracks in the roadway, improper boundaries, so that we can get that ready for the summer. Participated in a meet and greet with the Trails Committee, Ned Banks, and volunteers from Satuate Technology who were volunteering to clean Webster's Wilderness Trail, which is located behind the Council on Aging. I supplied coffee and donuts to the volunteers. Participated with Labor Council and the Department of Labor Relations, a hearing involving the Marshfield Fire Department. Spoke at the town of Marshfield's Earth Day and tree planting event at Town Hall. 2 dogwood trees were donated by Home Depot to be planted. The Tom Corbo, our deputy, his brother, represents Home Depot in selling, and Home Depot graciously donated the 2 trees. Participated in our annual and special town meeting. Participated in a CISR training, that is cybersecurity and infrastructure security, training for Levitate Festival in the Marshfield Fair at the EOC. Participated in the Commonwealth Monthly Workshop on Federal Funds. Participated in deposition for the Holtec case. Had a meeting with Fred Russell, our facility director, to review ongoing maintenance programs, including generator maintenance for all of our buildings, installation of a library generator, town hall project, the fire HQ project for the new men's and women's bathroom and locker rooms, town hall new doors, GAR renovations, and dog park issues. Had a meeting with Mike DeMayo, our harbor master, for an update on the Commonwealth's launch ramp replacement at the town pier. $700,000 project was fully funded by the Commonwealth and not the town. Meeting with Andrew Stewart, our building commissioner, and Tim Williams regarding substantial improvements with our assessor, Anne Marie Sinnott, and how to define the value that would be helpful for our residents. Participated in a meeting with our IT department regarding the expansion of our public information platform. The goal of Operation Information is to extend the sharing of critical town information with our residents beyond the basic websites, WATD, MCM, and Facebook platforms. Meeting with the Select Board team to review any outstanding issues that needed to be addressed or responded to. Participated in the MMA's webinar on promoting civil discourse at town meeting. It was put together by the Mass Moderators Association. Hosted the Maya quarterly safety meeting with our key departments, DPW, schools, police, facilities, HR, etc. Maya is our insurance company. These meetings help improve the safety of our employees through training and workshops offered by Maya and other insurance providers. Had a meeting with Cindy Marcoux, our library director, and Fred Russell, our facility director, regarding some earmarked funds in the budget a few years ago that will be used to upgrade the bathrooms at the library. Hosted a solar meeting to discuss the roof project and installation on the solar panels School roofs need to be repaired and updated to extend the life for 25 years. Marshfield High School roof needs to be repaired and walkways will be installed to further protect the soft membrane of the flat roof. Had a meeting with Chairperson Lynn Fiddler to review the new ABCC rules approved last week by the legislature regarding outdoor table service. This permanent change will allow local licensing boards to approve requests for expansion of outdoor table service, including the description of the licensed premise. Before the actual approval can occur, cities and towns shall establish the process for approving such requests. Participated in a conference call with a parent whose child was injured at the COA baseball fields in between the pickle courts by falling stones that rolled down and broke the daughter's arm, so we're working with them. And that is my report.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we're going to get right into the action items this evening. The first one being our board reorganization.
I'll make a motion to nominate Lynn Fiddler as our chair.
A motion's been made, needs to be seconded.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. A roll call is in order. Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve Lynn as the chair.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Steve Darcy as vice chair. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve Mr. Darcy, vice chair.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Mr. Kelly as clerk. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to appoint Mr. Kelly as the clerk.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we will be moving into number 2, which we look at as a discussion and vote to open and close the special town meeting warrant. And I would like to have our town administrator expand on the purpose of this new special town meeting warrant. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. As folks know that attended town meeting, one of the unresolved piece of business was the extension of the roofs of the schools for the Daniel Webster, for the Governor Winslow, for the Amesway, and repairs to Marshfield High School. Marshfield High School roof was damaged in 2015. It was repaired sometime after that, after the winter of 2015. The original company that had installed the roof came back and made repairs to the roof. Since then, moisture was detected. Fred Russell, as part of his normal maintenance a year or so ago, noticed that there was moisture permeating in the insulation of the high school. So that's why that roof is on the list. They sort of tie it back to either tiers that were made when they shoveled off the roof in 2015, or the repair work that was done after that winter. The patches may not be holding, so moisture is getting in, so those are gonna be fixed. And so that's all gonna need to be done. Those other roofs need to be extended. The fix for all of that, including repairs to the high school roof, adding the walkways on the high school roof, because anyone's familiar with flat roofs, it's really just a membrane, and if you walk on it or you put something very sharp, anyone who has a flat roof know that they're prone to leaking, so they want to be proactive. When the roof was done at the Furnace Brook Middle School, there was walkways put in that. Some of the smaller schools have walkways on them, and that's because all of the air conditioning units, the air handlers, et cetera, everything is up there. People are constantly up on those roofs to service the equipment, so we want to make sure that's, protected. So the cost of fixing the high school roof, extending the roof to Daniel Webster for 25 years, extending the life of the roof at Governor Winslow for 25 years, and the Amesway School, those tally up to, with contingency, about $3.5 million, same figure that was at town meeting. And we need to get that done, because those roofs really, we want to make sure that they're protected. They're almost at end of life. The membrane that will go on, they will extend the life, and it's a relatively, probably the most cost-effective way to do it. If the roofs got to the end of life and we have to go out, those roofs, the Governor Winslow and Daniel Webster, are somewhere between $4.5 and $5.5 million per roof to rebuild. Rebuild is different than what's being proposed. What's being proposed is this, scientific membrane that goes on top of the roof that's already there to extend it. So we have to open up a town meeting warrant. We have to call for another town meeting. It would be for the one article, the town's advancing one article, but in the language, we're opening the warrant. If people want to submit articles, they can. And we want to get this done before people take off and go on their summer vacations and things like that. So that's why it's proposed to do it on June 24th, 2024.
Okay, so in preparation for June 24th, is there any outreach that we have going here in our facilities department, or are they going to present at that meeting?
We'll present the town meeting. What I'd like to do is do a public information session
Okay,
where we can have folks in. I want to have a sample of the membrane. I want to have a sample of the walkway. And we'll have people from the company that's doing Tremco, that does all of our roof repairs. They're on contract, and it's their technology, so we'll have them, their professional people there to answer questions. The facility director will be there to answer questions. And this will all be prior to town meeting.
right.
We go through the same process for special town meeting, just like we do for
Yeah.
either the fall, where we'll have, a joint advisory board meeting, and then we'll have the town meeting. I would
This was
assume.
on the capital budget, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So all those have already been approved.
Okay,
Yep.
excellent. So I support us going forward. I think the school roofs, I think the town just needs a little bit more explanation, and it appears that we're on the right track for that. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, please, Madam
Yes.
Chair. So it's incredibly frustrating that we had a new roof that was damaged. So how can we assure that, how can we assure the taxpayer that this won't happen again? And what best practices we can institute to make sure this won't be repeated?
That's a great question. That was a question that I asked. If in fact we ever had to shovel the roofs again, we need to make sure that they're using the appropriate tools to do it. It was purported by some people that were around in those days that they use regular shovels. They're not. They're special tools that are designed to be used to shovel the roof, so those would have to be used. And the other way that you minimize deterioration and damage to the roof is by having those walkways. They cost a little extra money, but they're worth it, because people stay on those paths and they go around those units that have to constantly, whether it's the air handler, air conditioner, or heating systems.
And I know that you and Fred have been really good about having on-call contractors for the town where they can be called right away. It saves the town a lot of money with respect to time and permitting. I mean, would it be possible to have quality on-call shovelers to make sure we have quality people with insurance, shoveling the roofs?
That's a great suggestion, and I'll convey that to Fred, and we'll get someone that's qualified to be able to do that, so we'll be prepared for next winter.
Sure.
We've been fortunate, we haven't had to shovel the roofs.
Yep, absolutely. And it's unfortunate that we had a new roof that was damaged, but at the end of the day, we have leaking roofs at the school and we need to fix them. So I think there was some confusion with respect to the roofs and the solar. Could you explain how the solar is a mechanism to finance the roofs, and then what kind of revenue we could expect from the solar?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. So, the cost of the roof and the revenue. So, the revenue that we'll take in, so on the high school, once the high school roof is done, we'll be taking in $39,901.13 per year. Over the 20 years, is what the contract would be. We'd take in $422,713.19 on the high school. On the Governor Winslow, it's $42,609.19 per year. Over the 20-year period, it's $451,402.40. On the Daniel Webster, It's $39,398.78 per year, for a total of $417,391.27. For Ames Way, it's $18,739.61, for a total of $198,527.73. And those are from those roofs that we're talking about now. Next year, not including in this batch, but included in that cost of the $3,500,000, is also South River School. And South River School would take in $23,800 per year, for a total of $252,138.92. So what we would propose is that we'll go out to borrow, and then proceeds, once the photovoltaics get up on the roof and they start to generate the money, then that revenue will go into the general fund to offset the cost for this loan. As we usually go out, and I'll have to talk to Sean, but we usually go out in July to borrow for the other capital for our inside debt. So we'll talk about that structure also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I just expand on that? So when you talk about your inside debt, and we're gonna be working on that later, so, is that something Sean and you will work with, and then you'll present to the board?
Well,
Okay.
inside debt's already been approved, so
Okay.
town meeting voted on inside debt. This would be added to it.
Yeah.
So inside debt is anything that we don't go to the ballot box on.
Right.
Outside debt is a debt exclusion, so the high school, the $50 million police, DPW, that's all outside.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Hi,
Hello.
you're giving me that look. I don't.
Got questions?
We can stay here all night long, it's, I can.
Should have told you to bring your pillow.
I'm not a big hockey fan, Eric, so I got all night.
I'm just saying,
If you were a voting member, Mike, I'd probably take you up on that. All right, with the roofs, are we incorporating the solar panels with this article?
The solar panels were already predetermined. So 4 or 5 years ago, town meeting approved the power purchase agreement, which got us to this point. So you see, we have photovoltaics at the police station, we have carports, we're gonna have them at the dog park, along the perimeter of the fields, on the school roofs, and a few other places.
All right, well, I mean, the whole thing is that I think why we're revisiting this again is the fact that people were up in arms because the roofs have already been damaged, especially the high school, and tools dropping and all that. Now we're gonna have solar panels up there, people are gonna have to be up there maintenance them. There's no response, I would say, from the town in regards to responsibility and everything else like that.
are you I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Are you referring to what our maintenance plan is going to be in the future? Or are you referring to our past maintenance plans?
It could be, well, it's past right now,
So
but,
I want to work towards the future and what
well, I'm looking at the
our
future.
maintenance plans are. Okay,
So the whole thing is that we have mechanical equipment up there, and then now we're gonna add the solar panels up there. And the whole thing is that, at town meeting, a lot of people were up in arms just through the fact that we're gonna put new roofs on. There appeared to be no accountability, in regards to the damage that was done to roofs in the past. And now you're gonna add solar panels onto it in regards to, those are gonna be maintenance from time to time, I imagine. I don't know how many times a year or whatever, but I believe the townspeople asking the questions weren't satisfied with the answers they were getting in regards to verifying the roofs in regards to getting them damaged and who's gonna be responsible in regards to repairing it and everything. So I don't think we've addressed that issue at the moment. My other concern is in regards to doing the special town meeting, is that we still have the MBTA zoning still lingering over our head. I would take it that, especially with schools out, people are gonna be packing their bags, going on vacations, and as well as it's the summertime, that politics would be somewhat out of their mind. In regards to what I brought up, in regards to the roofs, the solar panels, which I do know that the roofs need to be repaired, and like I was speaking to somebody after the election, that they were asking me about it, and I said, look, take out the solar panels, and I think the town would go for the roofs. The solar panels seems to be the main obstruction to all this in regards to some matters that are going on. So I'm going to say I'm not for the opening, going for this special town meeting in regards to that. I think there are still questions that aren't answered to people in regards to maintenance, responsibility, if we get the roofs done, in regards to repairs. And like I said, as well as the MBTA zoning, which could pop up. Now, my suggestion would be if those who are interested in getting the roofs fixed, I believe, special town meetings, 100 signatures? If you want to have your own special town meeting?
I'd have to check. I don't have my,
That they go out and get signatures and do it on its own without us calling for it. That way, we know what the meeting is being called for. And instead of having surprises brought forth to us in regards to the NBA zoning popping up, and then people aren't around, or can't be around because they already made vacation plans.
So you're suggesting that this is going to insinuate an option for the public to add the MBTA back into it?
It will,
You're
it could, yes,
suggesting?
absolutely.
Okay, I understand that point. I am also understanding what you're saying is the 2015 blizzard that we had is affecting folks' decision on what we're going to do in 2024 moving forward with solar roofs. So we're finger pointing at things that happened in 2015, and I do think that that needs to be addressed. Because why it needs to be addressed is we need to figure out an operation and maintenance plan going forward, like we would with any project. So in that case, I think that this particular point is made based on what we need to go moving forward, not finger pointing to what we did in the past. It does set a precedent when people are looking at things that happened in the past. And I do agree with you. We want our government to be accountable for what happens in the past and what happens in the future. So now you're part of that process. Congratulations,
Thank you.
welcome to the table. So we can work towards that and the solar that this town has supported in the past and try to figure out how to make that work. We have some time to do it, and I'd like to consider what you just said and my responses to it, but I would like to put this motion forward.
Madam Chair, can I just make
Sure,
one
I
comment?
love it, yeah,
So,
productive.
no, thank you. So within the past year, I had a new roof put on my house with solar, and solar was an incentive that was a mechanism to help with a lot of the upfront costs. And, you know, while there are trolls online who have claimed I just moved, I've owned my house in Marshfield since 2019, and other folk accepted the misinformation as fact, which is unfortunate, but I've owned my own house since 2019 in Marshfield. But again, the new roof was financed by the solar, and it covered a lot of the upfront costs. So can you explain the connection in the mechanism that the solar helps provide?
what the solar does is, the solar they're not paying for the cost of the roof. They pay for everything that's related to the photovoltaic. So if I could just digress, I just want to, and I'll tie that in, but Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to answer Mr. Kelly's question because I want to make sure he gets
Which
an
question?
answer. He had raised a question about, in 2015, I just want to be sure that folks know that the original roof company that had the contract to put the roof on the new high school, they were the ones that were called in and the roof was repaired. So after the tears, I wasn't up on the roof, I wasn't even in government at that time. What I'm told by the people that were there was that they visibly could see tears in the membrane, so they knew that they had to bring someone in. So in 2015, thereabouts, that roof was repaired. Going forward, as far as maintenance, we do a very good job. Fred in the maintenance department does a great job of managing not only general government, but the school sides of the property. So we have agreements, there'd be licensing agreements with the photovoltaic company, so they'd be responsible for any damage that they do to the roof, just like any other vendor that goes up, or if they knowingly destroy something, they're responsible for it. We also carry our own liability insurance. You heard me mention Maya earlier. They insure all of our property. And then we also have an umbrella policy for anything that's not particularly covered. So what the photovoltaics does, once everything is up and running, and we have them on the school roofs and other buildings that they've identified in other areas for carports and things like that, it is a positive revenue stream for the town to the tune of somewhere between 1.8 and $2 million a year for 20 years, and that's a significant amount of money. That's tantamount to a debt exclusion, but at no cost to the taxpayer, because that's revenue that would come in. And that's, Mr. Darcy, to your point, that's the importance. But we're not gonna put photovoltaics up on a roof if there's potential for the roof to need constant repair, and then you gotta take the photovoltaics off to repair the roof. That's why the roofs, according to Tremco, who's looking at it, according to the photovoltaic company, they want roofs that have a life expectancy of 20 to 25 years before they would put them on there. That's why we're going through this exercise, and it's really cost effective, because that technology, like I said, is 3.5 million versus, somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5 million times 2 for the bigger roofs, and slightly less for the Amesway and some of the other schools.
I'm going to just also add another. So there was also comments at town meeting in regards to the insurance that we had back in 2015. And as you said, you weren't there and I wasn't there. And, a lot of us here in the room were not there to pass judgment on what happened. But we have insurance and we have liability and they have their comp certificates and they have everything they need to do. And the town needs to stay vigilant in the actual process when there is a storm or whatever there was at that point. So can you just explain in 2015, I recall there was something about credits and
Yeah,
how that works?
So what they did is, normally, so the insurance companies at that time, there were a number of, not in our town, thank God, but in other
Yeah.
communities, a number of roofs had collapsed. So
Right.
when that started during the height of the storm, they sent a message out to cities and towns about shoveling off the
The
roof.
state.
Not the state, Maya,
Maya did the insurance, okay.
is the Mass Interlocal Insurance. So they asked, people to go out, if you had a certain type of roof, to go out and shovel the roofs off, because they were afraid that, there would be too much weight on those roofs.
Right.
So, and they would give you a credit. What happened was, at the same time this was all happening, we had a $400,000, something happened to the South River roof that we collected from Meyer on. So there's something in the insurance language that they only pay once per year
If there's
on a
claim
big
or
claim.
something like
Correct.
that. Okay, all right, thanks for clarifying. All right, so I'd like to make a motion here. So the board moves to open the warrant for the special town meeting of June 24th, 2024, for submission of warrant articles on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. Articles should be submitted to the Select Board office. The special town meeting warrant will close on Monday, June 3rd, 2024, at 7 p.m. The special town meeting will be held on Monday, June 24th, 2024, at 7 p.m. at Marshfield High School Auditorium. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly? We'll take that as she has to record.
Are you
the vote.
abstaining,
Yeah,
or are you taking it a no?
I'm
or
taking a
you're
no,
just
I'm
No,
voting no
okay.
against the,
You're voting no.
yes.
So-
Okay, 2-1.
Okay. So we will be moving towards a special town meeting on June 24th, 2024.
And Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes, sir.
just to Mr. Kelly's point, he does have concerns, like a lot of folks with the MBTA. And I'm not gonna speak for the two elected, but in general government, we would not bring anything forward. We're gonna wait to see what the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts does sometime in late October. And then, depending upon their decision, then that will dictate if we have to have a special town meeting to address anything in December.
All righty, moving on. I'm going to move to our item number 3, which is our 2024-2025 Board Committee Liaisons. And I will read these out to the public. Board and Committee, the ADA Committee, the SBA Liaison will be Eric Kelly. The Advisory Board will be Lynn Fidler. The Agricultural Commission will be Eric Kelly. The Airport Commission will be Steve Darcy. The Capital Budget Committee will be Steve Darcy. The Community Preservation Committee will be Steve Darcy. Conservation Commission, Lynn Fidler. Council on Aging, Lynn Fidler. Cultural Council, Steve Darcy. Energy Committee, Eric Kelly. Historical Commission, Steve Darcy. Housing Partnership, Lynn Fidler. Library Trustees, Eric Kelly. Open Space Committee, Steve Darcy. PPI Committee, Lynn Fidler. Recreation Commission, Steve Darcy. Recreation Fields Committee, Eric Kelly. Recreation Trails Committee, Eric Kelly. Waterways Committee, Lynn Fidler. Zoning Board of Appeals, Lynn Fidler. Congratulations to all of you. I hope you have a lot of time on your hands because that's a lot of work.
Thank you.
Okay. And please reach out to the chairs of those committees and introduce yourselves and get started. And certainly reach out to Michael if you have any questions. Okay. So, we have number 4, which is the board, the board.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
You just need to technically officially make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So the board moves to approve the aforementioned 2024-2025 board committee liaisons appointments. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the aforementioned board and committee liaisons.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Steve. Okay, so we do have a few people here. So we have our building commissioner. So we are going to number 4. So let's, just a second here, regrouping. So this is the program for public information.
Madam Chair, if you want to push me off, I can wait and do that.
No, I think we're going to try to stay as much to the schedule as we can. So you have a couple other things that may be on this list that we may jump ahead. Okay. So this is a discussion and vote to approve and sign the plan for public information. So would you introduce yourself for the
Sure,
record?
Andrew Stewart, Marshfield Building Commissioner and Floodplain Administrator. So we are involved in the community rating system, which basically is a program that allows us to adopt higher regulatory standards, adopt the National Flood Insurance Program standards, and basically earn our residents discounts on their flood insurance and disaster relief funds and disaster recovery assistance when we do have a big flood event or some sort of natural disaster. Part of that program, every year we go through basically an audit. We have to give them a bunch of information about the outreach events that we are doing every year. We have a spring outreach every year that we do where we give people information about flood insurance. And then we have a hazard information outreach in the fall where we give them information more directed towards the different hazards that are coming, especially in the winter months when we see these nor'easters and whatnot. So part of that also is we develop a plan for public information where we describe the types of outreach that we're going to be doing. We describe the different activities that we are doing. We submit this all to FEMA, but it's also there for our stakeholders, our residents, so that they can understand the actions that we're taking, ask us questions. So every year we have to kind of work on that. We update it. Every 5 years we do a major update. That's kind of where we're at right now. So we had presented this back in December, and we were requested to give you guys a red line markup update, as well as the draft that we had presented. So we now have the red line update for you, plus the draft. Nothing really has changed since the meeting in December, per se, because we were pretty much prepared with that plan back then. Other than just one thing that we did do was we had to add a qualified lender to our committee. And we added Eric Ritzy to our, I believe that's.
What page is it?
No, Eric Ritzy, who's from Leader Bank, and he's also a floodplain resident. So we got our qualified lender, and we have a pretty good committee. We meet almost every month, And so we've put together the plan for public information this year, and we're asking for the select board's approval so that we can adopt it and send it to FEMA with the support of the town.
Okay. So in our packet, we have both the red line version, as you said, and the final version. Where is Eric Ritzie in this final version?
Should be on page 4.
Okay.
Madam Chair, who'll need to
Yes,
be
sir.
added to this list, the PPI committee.
Okay. PPI members are on page 4, yeah. All right. It's RITCY,
RITCEY.
CEY, and he's with the Lender Bank?
Yes. Leader Bank.
Leader
sorry.
Bank.
Leader Bank. He's a qualified lender, yeah.
Okay. So other than that change, the final version is correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
I made some minor grammatical changes and,
Scrivener errors?
yes. Lining things up with spaces and tabs, you know.
Okay, all right. So, I'm just gonna briefly look back at some of the red line versions that we looked at. So, I've already looked at this 3 times, but one last time here.
And it's very much in line with the multi-hazard mitigation plan that we adopted last fall as well.
Right.
The PPI is generally part of that hazard mitigation plan as well.
So when this went out, when this draft went out to meet its deadline, they report back to you with recommendations. They were, your draft was accepted, correct?
That was the
explain to me.
multi-hazard mitigation plan, was the one that we sent to FEMA to have
Oh,
them
okay.
come back and look.
Okay.
We do this draft, this is kind of an in-house thing that we are always
working
putting
on, yeah.
together. And then we get your approval, then we send it to FEMA as part of our yearly audit, our yearly recertification submission, basically.
Okay.
You know, just to show that we're maintaining it and keeping it updated.
So we had, for example, on page 13, many of the structures in the town have received multiple losses. Out of 1,714 flood policies, 1,445 losses have been paid, which is 82% of our policyholders. When zones are analyzed, such as pre-firm AEs, there are 525 policies with 510 losses, meaning 97% have filed at least one claim. That was on page 13 of the draft. So I think that this board, with the exception of our newest member, has been over this so many times, but I'd like to just open the floor up for a very minor discussion and then move forward on it. Okay?
Sure.
Any comments?
Yes, Madam Chair. So Andrew, I know this is something that the state is looking into. Could you discuss kind of how the state is looking into repetitive loss properties?
I don't know that the state necessarily is looking into repetitive loss properties. So repetitive loss properties are essentially any property that's had a flood loss, specifically a flood claim, a claim that's over $1,000 and 2 claims within a 10-year period. Any property that's had that in a 10-year period, two claims of $1,000 is considered a repetitive loss property. So we also have what are considered severe repetitive loss properties, and that is 4 claims total in the life of the structure, or I think it's 3 within a 10-year period is considered severe repetitive loss as well. So FEMA looks at those properties differently because they are continually receiving the brunt of the flood action. It's usually these houses are in the velocity zone, getting the wave action, getting the wind action, and get damaged quite frequently. I know that there are people within the state and within the federal government that are looking to, one of the options that they want to create is managed retreat, right? So when a house in these areas is damaged and let's say really destroyed in one of these storms, our bylaws allow you to reconstruct them after a 2-year period, or up until a 2-year period. After that 2-year period, you kind of lose the rights to reconstruct it after a natural disaster. But that's really difficult for people to stomach. You're losing a very valuable piece of property. And one of the things they're looking into doing is developing some sort of a system for managed retreat so that they can encourage people or towns or counties, the state, to give funds to these people to buy them out, basically, turn the property back into open space, and give them more of an incentive to do that other than just declaring a loss on the property, or building a new structure that's going to be susceptible to the same sort of hazards. So that is something that they're looking into and something that I have thought about a bit, and maybe we could start looking into that and other options. Like we used to have some grant opportunities locally. We had the HELP program back in the early 2000s and late 1990s that provided, small grants for people to elevate their homes. We have federal mitigation assistance grants, but it takes a lot of work, and we would have to really get organized and establish some folks in town that would be responsible for that. And, I'm certainly, it's within my purview of my job for sure as floodplain administrator and building commissioner, so I'd be happy to organize an effort to look into that for sure.
Thank you for being thorough.
Yeah.
Just before I turn to you, so would you consider this to be a living document where you're continually working on this?
Yes.
Can you explain that process to
Certainly,
us?
yeah, so we are constantly updating. Obviously, these numbers change every year when we get new information, when we get census information, so and then when we get information from the claims from the federal government, we get our repetitive loss list updated every year. So the numbers are always changing, and as we complete certain items in town, it obviously will no longer be an item that we are discussing or trying to improve. One example of that is when the PPI first started, when we did it, I think in 2018, the bridge at Beach Street was one of the issues, and that's been resolved. So we've recreated that bridge. Everything is good with that bridge, and we've now taken that off of our plan to improve it because it's been improved. So as we work through things in the town, things are removed. We meet not only do we have our committee, but we also go and we meet with the Multi-Hazard Mitigation Committee, which is kind of a larger committee that involves the fire, the police department, DPW, a lot of folks, even outside folks that can come in. MEMO will come into those meetings. But what we will, and that's kind of a living document as well, the multi-hazard mitigation plan. But the PPI, we work on it in the CRS committee, constantly are updating it. Every time we meet, we go to the department head meetings and speak with the department heads to get ideas from them on areas of concern. And so it's, in that respect, it is a living document. And then every year, once a year around this time, we ask that the select board adopt the changes that we've proposed for the year.
Okay, so I'd like to I'm the liaison to the PPI, so I'd like to suggest going forward that I bring back to the board a highlights to what you're working on. So I'm going to share that with you, so I will be working on that as well. So go ahead.
On the managed retreat, you were saying that they're looking into buying up properties. I mean, how much money are they looking to spend on doing that?
Yeah, they really haven't. It's more for us, especially in Marshfield. It's kind of just a newer idea. We haven't really ever looked into that. So it's very early on in the thought process of all that stuff. So I don't even know that we have a plan for how much money people would try to get, but that's the difficult thing is trying to figure out what these properties are worth after going through a natural disaster, and what is a reasonable amount to offer somebody, and what is a reasonable amount to accept as a resident that's gone through such a traumatic disaster.
Right, but you also have, it's the taxpayers' money as well that you
Right.
are
Ultimately,
giving out.
that's the buyout, yeah.
So, in relation to the managed retreat, because it's the one thing I've always wondered, especially with the dredging of the harbor. Of course, a lot of it, they say it's silt, but a lot of it, I'm sure, is good sand they're taking out. So, what about refilling our beach line, our coastal line with the sand, especially dredging? I mean, any, like in your position, is there anything you could suggest or do about that in regards to protecting our coastline, where certain parts are eroding? But if we come up with a plan, especially where we have a harbor that's being dredged and materials being dumped in another location of the ocean instead of being used on our coastline, what can we do about that?
Yeah.
Or could you answer that? And is there something you can help out on?
I'm certainly not qualified to speak to the quality of the sand coming out of dredging and whether that would be good for
Right.
beach nourishment right off.
But
the
if it
bat.
was, just.
But if it was, it's certainly an option. There's a permitting process we would have to go through with the state, with the Office of Coastal Zone Management, the Army Corps of Engineers. So it would be a process to get through that, and I think it would just be, that's kind of beyond my scope. It would be more for the Conservation Commission to take the lead on that one.
All right.
Did you find that within this document?
What's that?
Something in relationship to what you were just questioning?
Oh, in regards to
Yeah.
the sand and all that?
Yeah.
No, it's just something I
So-
always had a keen eye to it over
Oh,
the
okay,
years.
okay, because I didn't realize that was what we were talking about.
So, well, I tied in with managed retreat
get it.
and all that and
Okay.
everything.
Yep. I just thought I missed something.
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry about that, throwing
No,
you for a
that's
loop.
fine.
All right, so I really haven't had time to really flow through this. I don't know. So is there anything negative in this that could impact the residents here? Or,
No, everything in it is designed to protect our residents, to
so there's not gonna be any
help them.
things in here to take their property from them or?
No, nothing like that. Absolutely not.
All right, and then I see it's a policy of some sort. So are we doing this year to year? Is this gonna be, so
Yep.
it'll expire after today and then revisit it every year?
Yep. Essentially, we submit it every year for your approval.
Okay, so as long as that's incorporated with your,
Excellent.
how you finish up, I'll be
Yeah,
happy.
Thank you
to
for
do
your
it.
input. Is there something you'd like to add?
Just very quickly, if I could just tackle Mr. Kelly's. So we took part in beach nourishment, so coastal zone management has to approve the granule, they do an analysis of the sand and stuff like that. The only time the feds in the state waived those rights were in 2018. We had those 3 very violent storms, and Bluefish Cove, about 10 feet of the sand went into the Narrows, and Mike DeMayo's here. We had to go house to house to get them to sign off. And when the dredge company came in, instead of taking the dredge material out, because we didn't have to go through the long 1.5-year permitting process, they were able to put that sand right back out there. The Green Harbor did a project with Duxbury. We got state funding for that. Coastal Zone Management helped manage that. We're gonna see, we're committed to that for like 5 years. We're gonna have to probably put some of our own money in that, because they sort of tie that into seawalls. If you're not doing beach nourishment, putting sand back on the beaches, and of course, they make it very hard, as you illustrated, then they may not give us money for seawalls, because we go to them for seawalls, we put our own money in, so it is all tied together.
So, on that comment there, let me make sure I'm understanding. So if you're doing seawalls, they expect you to put sand on the beach?
To beach nourishment, yeah, because the
Okay.
sand, if you keep the sand high enough, it acts as a buffer,
A wave breaker?
yeah, as a
Yes,
wave
correct.
breaker, right, because it raises the floor up.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so, I mean, that's the different areas of our town, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, when we're talking about managed retreat, well, we can, I think, between what people pay in insurance, but avoid the managed retreat, is to get our beaches back into prime shape in regards to like you said, having a buffer to break the waves even before they hit the seawall.
I'd like
So-
to suggest that perhaps he goes out and sees the beach that we've been working.
I'd be
the
happy,
town's
we'll
been-
take them
yeah.
down.
Oh, down in,
Yeah,
they
or
have
just
there?
go out and just
Yeah.
walk
Well,
it
the
with
town-
your
I
kids
could
or
do that,
whatever,
fine.
yeah.
Our town planner is much more well-versed than I am in it, but I do participate in all the meetings.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So I'd like to make a motion to move forward on this action item number 4. The board moves to approve and sign the program for public information as recommended by the PPI and CRS committee. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
I do want to add something that was, I think, missed.
Oh, excuse me, there was one editorial change to Eric Ritzie
Yes.
on that, okay.
It was
Go
going to
ahead.
be a one-year term on this.
Well, it's part of this document.
Is that one year? I don't know if it is part of it or not, but just to make
It's
it official.
it is a yearly requirement for us to maintain our
Start over.
our participation in the community rating system. If we don't, we won't be a part of the CRS anymore, and we'll lose all our flood insurance discounts for our residents. if we
Okay,
don't
so
do
every year it needs to be revisited, is what you're
Absolutely.
saying?
Yes, every
All right,
year.
I apologize.
Good question. Thank you for your response. I'm going to start over. Editorial change on page 4, PPI committee to add Eric Ritzie, leader bank, and we'll start again. I'd like to make a motion that the board moves to approve and sign the program for public information as recommended by the PPI CRS committee with the editorial change to add Eric Ritzie, leader bank, on page 4 as a qualified lender. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote with
Thank
the
you, Eric.
editorial change to approve the PPI CRS.
Thank you very much, and happy
Thank
to
you.
Thank you.
meet with you anytime to go over any other stuff.
Thank you. Okay. Moving forward. Number 5, discussion and vote on annual assistant harbor master and shellfish constable appointments. And I see we have our harbor master with us.
Good evening.
Welcome. Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Mike DeMayo, Marshfield Harbor Master.
Maybe you want to wait for these people to exit the room? Okay. Thank you. No, it's so good.
No problem.
It's all good. Have a nice night.
You too, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, discussion and vote on annual assistant harbor master and shellfish constable appointments. Our harbor master, go ahead.
Yes, so good evening, everyone, and welcome aboard, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you.
So this is the annual appointment for Assistant Harbor Masters that comes before the board each year. And these are the folks that are returning, and there's 5 new folks that are coming on board. We did lose probably 5 kids this year for co-ops and moving on to colleges and full-time jobs. That's the constant struggle with summer employment for 20 weeks. So, but these are the folks that are conditionally coming on board once they pass their drug tests, other health, HR packet, et cetera. So
Okay.
I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you. Every year, this seems like a great list of folks and kids and students, and we haven't had any issues with this group and in the past, and I look forward to them doing their job and being committed to.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging year with the Coast Guard cutbacks now coming, and which are going to affect Station Situate, Station Cape Cod Canal. We're the ones more on the front line, unfortunately. We do a lot of training. We try to dedicate at least 2 hours per day to training. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the boats, but it could be in the office, going over the nav rules, charts, surge patterns, dewatering pumps, pretty much everything. First aid's a big one down there, with prior saves with CPR and things like that down the pier. The boat ramp's going to be busy. The boat ramp will be done next week, paved. The docks will come a short time thereafter under the state contract. So the ramp's going to be busy, so that there's kids down there all day long. We also patrol the north and south rivers as well, so.
All right. Well, you've got your work ahead of you.
Yeah.
It's already nice weather, so,
Tomorrow.
yeah, so, all right, well, I'd like to ask both of my board members if they'd like to ask a question while we have our harbor master.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Sir?
I do. I don't have a clear understanding of how all this operates, so.
Happy to tell you.
So when it says returning assistant harbor masters, what does that mean?
So they're the ones that come back every year. So there's 3 folks that work on a part-time year-round basis. They make up 40 hours, so I'm full-time, these guys are part-time. So if I'm in the office, I'm there with one other person. If I'm on vacation, then we bring in another person. So they make up 40 hours during the off-season, but this time of year now we're getting busy. So now these kids are getting out of college and they're coming back on board. Because now we go into in the next couple of weeks, we go into 4 to 12, we work till midnight, or we'll recover 3 to 11 through the summertime. For right now, we're just staffed 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. Due to budget and it's not really that busy, I'm pretty much on call every day. I've been that way the whole time, but that's kind of,
Is that the biggest challenge you have right now, is working your hours and getting your group
yeah, I
to
mean,
meet
once
demands?
everybody comes on board, it's, we do our schedule 30 days in advance. Because, kids are doing co-ops, they're doing college, things like that, but we schedule out 30 days in advance, so everybody has a schedule. They're able to do shift swaps if they can fill a shift, but, you can't fill a boat driver with a kid that's a crew member
Right, that's
or
what I'm
or a
trying
kid
to
that works
get
down
at,
the ramp.
yeah.
So, yeah. So not everybody drives the boats. Obviously, everybody's trained as crew members, things like that. But we have 4 licensed captains that are down there
Okay.
on the boats. So, the Coast Guard captains.
I kind of interrupted you.
That's all right, Len, I
We're-
forgive you.
that's Thank you. What a great start. Go ahead.
All right, so return harbor masters, so they're not on full-time, but they're part-time? And what do you say, there's a certain part of the year when you bring them on?
Yeah, so depending on the weather, so I try to stagger the kids when they come back from school, because the kids only work 20 weeks per year, that's by state law. So if I bring them all on May 15th, they all leave at the same time, then we're like, now what happens? So if I can bring a kid on mid-May, and next kid in June 1st, and, June 15th when they're out of high school, then it staggers the schedule for 20 weeks for the kids. Plus, it helps them because they get more hours as well. Because in years past, I used to have 15, 16 assistants. So this is the first year that I'm actually kind of light, but it's kind of a beta test where folks will get more hours. Because what happens in years past, kids would work 2 part-time jobs, and you would call them to come in, and they were at their other job. But it's a job that you got to kind of be committed to, because we're a subset of the police department, and there's a lot of things you have to know: CPR, first aid, operating boats, and a whole host of things. So it's not just a job that you stand on the boat ramp. It's pretty busy. I mean, what I equate to, I say it goes from 0 to 100 pretty quick. Last October, we had a guy cardiac arrest in the parking lot by the point. We were there for that. We've had boat sinkings, boat fires, boats up on rocks, people ejected from boats. So that's the nature of the job. So
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen quite a bit out there.
it's busy.
Write a book on it. All right, assistant shellfish constables, is that something that's an annual thing regards to?
Yeah, so Rick Wobble is the first assistant harbor master. He's the one that helps out a lot with the shellfish duties as well. Also, Michael Beers from Situate, he helped out a few years ago. He was on prior appointments. He's looking to get back on board with some interest. 2 years ago, we did the shellfish regulations over, I think last year, year before, and that was due to the Situate sewer plant. We had closure of the shellfish beds based on the new marine fisheries and FDA closure of 1,000 to 1 expansion around sewer plants, which was Situate for the North and South Rivers. Green Harbor's closed because it's in close proximity to the Green Harbor wastewater treatment plant. So what we did is both select boards, the regulations are pretty much the same for both communities, and we have reciprocity where if you buy a permit in Situate for $20 or a permit in Marshfield for $20, you're able to dig on both sides of the river. You can't expand your catch to 8 courts on each side of the town, but what it does is it gives people more chance to get out there, and the whole goal is to keep people
walking from land to the clam flats versus out there in canoes and kayaks and small boats in the wintertime going to the Marshfield side. So it just gives people more real estate to go. It's not a moneymaker, it's more of a documentation if you have the permit. Like last year, we did a shellfish relay. This year, we'll do that again, probably June, July as well, with some mitigation funds that we've got. So it's just getting people out there. We're actually doing water samples tomorrow morning at 11:30 with Marine Fisheries. And we're looking to open up another area in the South River, which with the closure line has been there for many years. We're looking to push that south towards the Bridgeway to open up more walkable clam flats for folks to get out there.
Okay, thank you.
I'm good.
Okay, so I'm going to read these names in, and then we will move forward here. So returning Assistant Harbor Masters, Richard Rodwell, First Assistant Harbor Master, Charles Matter, John Doyle, Colin Costello, Jason Dernier, John Sylvester, Henry McQuarrie,
Yep.
and Patrick Brown. Those are returning Assistant Harbor Masters. New Assistant Harbor Masters for 2024-25 as follows: Robert Lyden, Timothy Stiles, Tucker Collins, Alexander Soretis, and Abby Gorham. And thirdly, Assistant Shellfish Constables, Richard Rodwell and Michael Barrow.
Pierce.
Yes.
Is it Bierce?
Yes, yeah, yes.
Okay. I don't know why I'm not using my glasses, but I'm pretending that I'm not in my 60s. Situate Harbor Master, First Assistant. Okay. So that is the list. And this is 3 separate motions, so I will do these separately, and we will go forward. So number 5, the board moves to approve the aforementioned returning Assistant Harbor Masters for 2024 and 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the returning Assistant Harbor Masters.
Thank you. The board on number 2, motion number 2 is the board moves to approve the aforementioned new Assistant Harbor Masters for 2024, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the new Assistant Harbor Masters.
Excellent. And motion number 3 is Assistant Shellfish Constables. The board moves to approve the aforementioned Assistant Shellfish Constables. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the aforementioned Assistant Shellfish Constables.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's move to number 9 while you're here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Steve?
Yeah.
Let's follow forward in the path of your past job.
I'm here for
So-
number 6 as well.
Is it number 6 as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute, I have number 6 as,
It's the movie person.
okay, yes, you're right. So start with number 6.
Okay.
Are you with me, Eric?
I am following.
Okay. Number 6 is the discussion and vote on application for Film Productions, Pilgrim Productions LLC. All righty. So. Untitled carpooling project. Filming location checklist. Things seem to be in order. I see everything is in order. Is there anything you'd like to add, Town Administrator, to this?
Just, this is, so, this group from Hollywood's coming in, they're gonna do a documentary. They're gonna be in the area June 1st to July 16th. They're gonna be working 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock pending fishing offloading. Because that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna be filming people come in. They may have a tuna, other kinds of fish. Mike would be, a harbor master would be more of an expert at what they would be offloading, but that's the whole idea, and, we're lucky to be selected for this. It's some notoriety for the town, and they'll be operating during those times.
If I could address you, is there anything about this that is going to impede your daily operations?
No. So I've been in contact with the production company, so it's basically like a spin-off from Wicked Tuna, I guess you could say. It's a different kind of fish for tuna fish, the different methods. So what it is, we have 2 tuna trucks that are in Green Harbor anyway. They'll be utilizing those trucks as tuna buyers. So basically, if a fish does come into the pier, they'll back onto the pier as everyone else does, pick up the fish, and then they'll be film their thing and they'll be out of the way. They're not gonna be on the pier the whole time. They may only come in once a week. It's also Gloucester and Chatham is also involved in this. It's not exclusive to Marshfield. So it all depends, or in Portland, Maine as well. If the fish are up north, tuna fish are up north, then production would be in Portland, not Marshfield. So if the fish are in Mashpee or Cape Cod Bay, Green Harbor is actually the closest location. We have tuna trucks there on a daily basis. The same trucks that are Wicked Tuna now, they would come down, back in, pick up the fish, weigh it, put it in the truck, and they would move on. So
Okay. Cast and crew, 4 and 4, cast and crew vehicles too. It doesn't seem like it would be any, so you'll be the contact person
yeah.
with them and know that they're there and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, thank you. Anything to add, Eric?
I just want, there won't be impact on the fishermen or lobstermen down there at all, right?
No, there's 4 lobster buyers, and they sit in the parking lot, and each guy sells to different buyers, so they'll back onto the pier, they're offload. That's why we're adding this 3rd boom for the fishermen. They get their catch in, fresh catch, get to the pier. Some guys sell their own, and the 4 lobster trucks come in and go, and the tuna trucks sit in the lot all day long, no different than the striped bass buyer as well. So when a specific boat comes in that they sell to, they back up to the pier, weigh the fish, sign the paperwork, and then they move off the pier, so.
Okay, thank you. All set?
Hmm?
All right. All set?
Yep.
Anything else, Michael?
No, I think we've covered
Okay.
everything.
All right, so the board moves to approve the application for film production for Pilgrim Production LLC of North Hollywood, California, for the documentary that will be filmed in the harbor area between June 1st, 2024 through July 16th, 2024, between the hours of 10 a.m. till 11:59 p.m., pending fish offloading.
Yeah.
Pending sign-off from Marshfield Police Department, Marshfield Harbor Master, and the MFD, Marshfield Fire Department. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye,
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve.
excellent.
Then if I could, Chairman, back to the beach nourishment stuff, I'm more than willing to help out with that stuff. I got a pretty good working knowledge of the beach nourishment and dredging on all that stuff, so I'd love to add my knowledge to that when.
Thank you.
when it comes
Perhaps
out.
we'll add it to another
Yeah.
agenda item and give the update of where
Not a
we are
problem.
on that, and then Eric can.
I would
be
do
brought
some
up to
dredging
speed.
coming relatively soon, hopefully, so,
Awesome, thank you,
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay,
Madam Chair,
We got 9, right? We should-
yeah.
8 and 9.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm so excited to go home watch the Bruins.
I'm sorry, as I said.
8 and 9.
8 and 9? Okay.
All right, just a second here. Just lost my spot. Okay, 8, discussion and vote on request for permission to waive permit fees for parcel ID I-152414, which is Ridge Road and the Zoning Board of Appeals. So if you'd like to share that zoning permit application with us?
Yep, thank you. Yep, so that was for the Ridge Road boat ramp. Like the Chief Tavares said, tomorrow at 5 PM, I'll be seeking public comment, public feedback on the Ridge Road boat ramp. Like I said at town meeting in my speech, that we have a preliminary design moving forward, but I really want to hear from folks that use the ramp every day. There's some discussions, people want like some benches up there, maybe a dock area. I definitely want to increase the landscaping up there, the parking lot layout, the grade changes a little bit, but just create more public access to make the place look more appealing than what it is. We spent money in the past, in the last like 6 months, and it just gets worn down a little bit, so I kind of want to make it nice for once and for all and be done with it. The Marshall Yacht Club said we could tie into their water supply for some irrigation if we do have some plantings there. We'll see how the plans look, but I don't have every answer, but if folks that are up there more often than I am can give me a few suggestions, ideas, I'm all ears. I think it'll be really nice.
Okay, thank you. So you're coming in front of the ZBA tomorrow night? Is that what you're saying?
I think ZBA is the end of the month, I believe.
End
This
of
is,
the month.
this is for a meeting in the parking lot of Ridge Road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
site
but this
plan,
is,
site-
but
oh,
this fee
okay.
structure is for ZBA, which is the end of the month, I believe.
Okay, all right, well, you can get to that later. Tonight
Yeah.
it's about this. So, thank you for that explanation. And I'm sure Ridge Road and that boat ramp is in need of an upgrade, so thank you for your work and accessing the grants necessary for that. Anything you'd like to add,
No, thank you.
Eric?
I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay, thank you. All right, so here we are. So number 8, the board moves to waive the ZBA fees for the Harbor Master Project for Ridge Road Public Boat Ramp. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to waive the ZBA filing fee.
Okay, let's keep moving. So number 9, the board, let's see here, just a second. Discussion and vote on request for permission to waive permit fees for Town Pier 100 Central Street Building Department.
Yep.
Yep,
So that's for the main front door. Over the last couple of years, the front door, when you enter the entranceway, the floor was getting wet, and it was determined through the facilities, Fred Russell felt the door should have been opening out, not in. So I think it may have been like a design flaw, not an engineer or a contractor. But the first step into the door is a little soft on the floor, and we're looking to correct it before it turns into a bigger problem. So that's what that is for,
okay.
so.
Everything seems to be in order for that as well. Requesting on behalf of Patrick Brennan, PBG Engineering, to waive relatives over here. Okay. Any comments?
No.
Comments?
I do.
Go ahead.
Would you say that the floor is bowing, or?
So the subfloor in the east winds, the water was blowing under, the hard east winds were blowing right into the door. And if the gasket was opening out, I think it would have prevented the water from getting into the building. Because in the east wind down there in all winter, it just blows through the seals. There's no storm door, because it's all on card access to open the door. But they think that if the door opened out, the seal would be a better seal versus pushing in.
So what is it, just the flooring itself that's?
Yeah, it's probably like a 2x3 area that's a little soft.
All right, so it's just, it's not a joist or a structural thing?
No,
it's just
no, they've
flooring.
already opened underneath, it was all foam spray. The stringers are fine, it's just like the
That's where you
first
walk
sub-
on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of right where you walk in the door, take that out, and put the flooring back down. It shouldn't be a major repair, but
Okay.
I want to get ahead of it now before it turns into like the whole floor.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to schedule that pretty quick. We tried to do it last year, but they didn't get the funding. But actually, Fred's coming down tomorrow to take a look at it with Paul Williams.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it? Thank you. Okay. So the board, this is number 9, the board moves to waive the floodplain and, I'm sorry, did I take that back? No, that's correct.
Yep, that's
Number 9, the board moves to waive the floodplain and commercial building permit fees for the repairs of the town piers boat ramps.
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to waive the floodplain and commercial building permit fees for the harbor master.
Okay. And,
Madam Chair.
yes,
Andrew, are you sticking around for 17, the temporary RV trailer?
I am, yes.
Okay.
no, so we have. we
So are
s-
the residents that
Yep.
are
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna
Fair
do
enough.
that. So we skipped number 7, so I appreciate all of your patience. So we skipped number 7, but let's move forward with that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Harbor Master.
Thank you.
Okay, so which one are we?
17?
All right. Would you like to approach the board or the applicants? Yeah, why don't you sit there and Andrew can use the podium?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll take this.
Okay, so number 17 is a discussion and vote on request for permission for resident to place a temporary RV trailer for shelter, care of the building department. So if you'd like to explain where you stand on this?
I'll start real
You
quick.
can start,
Yep.
sure. Identify yourself again.
Yep,
Thank you.
Andrew Stewart, Building Commissioner. We have Amber and Andy Gregory here of 70 Pleasant Street. They own the home there, and they've been working on doing an addition to that home. I've been working with them for about a year now on the design and everything else. They had a permit, a contractor. The relationship hasn't worked out. They are delayed in getting back into the home. They have 2 children. The home is not unfortunately ready enough. It's kind of been remodeled to the extent that they can't really stay in there at this point. So they are looking for some relief from the select board to allow them to live in a temporary trailer as an option in order to be able to remain in Marshfield, have their kids remain in Marshfield, and to supervise the construction as it goes forward. And I'll let them introduce themselves and explain a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm Andy Gregory, and yeah, as Andrew said, we kind of started this project. Well, it's been
Thanksgiving, we moved out.
yeah, but yeah, Thanksgiving in December, and kind of we had a 4-month time frame, from the contractor, and we kind of started off kind of sort of quickly. We got the framing done, the siding, the roofing, and then really it's sort of not much has happened since then. Now we have to be out of our temporary housing by June 1st. And we've been in temporary housing in Duxbury, which is where I work, kind of carting the kids back and forth to school.
Several times a day.
And it's been pretty tough. So just kind of hoping to get back on site, as Andrew mentioned, so we can
Mm-hmm.
be back in town. Prefer Marshfield to Duxbury.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in front of the board.
And
Yeah.
no, I'm just kidding. And then just for the kids to be close to their friends in school. And then also, to try to kind of hopefully nurse the project along to its completion.
Okay. Any questions?
Sure. No, thank you for coming in. I'm really sorry to hear about your situation. And normally I revel in denying folks shelter, but I'll make an exception in your case. And
He's a little, kind of a little punchy. No, I'm sure it was a lot there was a lot going on with children and a rehab, and I'm glad to hear that Andrew's here to stand up for that process
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah.
and so,
Thank you.
good luck,
Thank you.
and good luck with the kids. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, how long do you think this is gonna take to get your house back into condition to move in?
We're trying to figure that out. We've had we had one contractor who was there when Andrew and his team kindly came out as a courtesy to check out the property. We're hoping. I mean, I think they're estimating 3 to 4 more months. We're hoping that we could perhaps get portion of the home into a livable condition, and then maybe safely isolate any other part of the home so that we could get back in there, but kind of not sure at this point.
So at the moment, you're hoping that it's before the cold weather sets back in on us,
Well,
right?
we're hoping before they go to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been really hard on the kids too, just being misplaced and unsettled and
Yeah, I
structured.
could
So,
see that, absolutely.
Yeah, so we're hoping
Uh,
maybe this summer they can be outside more, we can use our beaches here and be away from the house and, do that for them, and then hopefully by the time school starts, we can be in the house comfortably and livable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a slam dunk. You didn't have to come in, so thanks for coming in tonight. But yeah, you guys are
No,
okay.
thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
the
Appreciate
work
it.
that you did. It's
Yeah,
fascinating.
it
It
is.
kind of
Oh, I'm
sounds.
so
And
fascinated.
it's
It really is.
no, and it's it's comforting to see how hard everybody's working.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that. So can I just ask,
Yes, you may.
so in our decision for this particular, is there a time frame?
Usually 6 months, so we
That's
can
what I
come back
thought.
after 6 months and review.
But I'm sure you'll be in by then.
Yeah, the bylaw allows for 6 months
6
and then a
months,
6-month extension.
Okay.
But I feel confident they get the right contractor in there, they get working on it, they should be done within the 3 to 4 month period, for sure, where they're at right now.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move forward. Yeah, go
On the
ahead.
bylaw, regards to the 6-month extension, is that to be approved by the select board? or-
Yes, this is it is in the zoning bylaws, it's a accessory use, but it is only with approval of the select board can you do this.
Okay,
I think it's accessory use number 16.
all right, thank you.
So it will be 6 months from today.
Correct.
They may have to come see us again.
If they need it, yeah.
If they need it, okay. So I'd like to move forward, okay? The board moves to approve the request of the residents of 70 Pleasant Street to place a temporary trailer on their property while work is being done on their property, pending approval from the Board of Health, a plumbing permit and electric permit being issued by the town. Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
All right,
Unanimous vote to approve the temporary trailer.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thanks, good luck.
Okay. Anybody else here? So let's go back to number 7. Which is a discussion vote on appointing Ken Pike as a delegate from the Marshfield Council on Aging
Okay, we appreciate it. Great, thanks.
to the OCS Board of Directors through the Council on Aging. Okay. I know I'm all set with this appointment. Council on Aging is a critical part of our community, and I just, before I pass on the baton here, I'd like to just acknowledge how much work these folks put into keeping the building and keeping things running over there. So this particular person is adding time out of his week and his months and to do this. So I commend this type of gracious community service. With that being said, go ahead, if you have anything to add. This was Carol Hamilton, who is also a dedicated servant to the town.
No, thank you.
Okay.
could I just get a brief description of what Mr. Pike is doing, more what this,
Sure.
agenda item is?
Madam Chair, if I may?
Sure, please do.
So, this person, you have to be from the Council on Aging. Council on Aging appoints them to the Board of Directors, and to serve on the Board of Directors, you have to fit into this. So you have to have experience with the following skill sets: professional experience, veteran services, healthcare, government, accounting, contract management, grant writing, fundraising, LGBTQ awareness, older adults or individuals living with disabilities.
So what is the Old Colony Elder Services, I guess is the question.
Well, they are out of Old Colony Council is a section of the state that we live in. It encompasses Marshfield, Plymouth, a number of other places, and it's sort of an umbrella group. They provide assistance for seniors in those particular areas that I just mentioned, what the skill sets required for those people. So they provide not only assistance in the town of Marshfield, but in other communities that fall under their umbrella.
So it's like a main organization.
Like a self-help.
And then Marshfield and all the other communities fall underneath that umbrella, is what
Yes.
you're saying. Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Right. So with that being said, you're all set, Eric?
I'm good, Lynn.
Okay, thank you. Steve?
No,
Anything?
thank you.
You're all set as
I'm all
well?
set, yep.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that the board moves to appoint Ken Pike as delegate to represent the Marshfield Council on Aging to the Old Colony Elder Services Board of Directors for fiscal year 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve Ken Pike as delegate representing Marshfield Council on Aging.
All righty, so we're going to move to number 10, which is a discussion and vote on the request for permission to waive a permit for fees for T-Rock Gardens, 824 Marine Street, Marshfield Housing Authority. And I see we have one of our Housing Authority commissioners here. Welcome. Would you like to share your input with us?
No, I know there are state grants that are in place for sewer connections, and there's also a generator project coming up.
I understand this is for the electrical, that was pulled a couple weeks ago, is that correct?
Generator project.
Yeah, it's the electric for it,
It
okay.
was approved by the CPA, and
Yeah,
the findings.
that's how I understood it. Okay, yeah.
Joe Pasevich House.
Yes, thank you. All right, so, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
No, I don't have anything to add to it. no.
All right, thank you. So the board moves to waive the electrical permit fee for the septic system wiring, the Marshfield Housing Authority at T-Rock Gardens, 824 Moraine Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to waive the electrical permit fee for the Housing Authority at T-Rock.
Okay. Moving on to number 11, discussion and vote on request for permission to waive permit fees for Furnace Brook Middle School, 500 Furnace Street, Building Department. Okay.
So if you'd like, Madam
So,
Chair, I can
yes,
give a little
please, go ahead.
explanation. So,
Yep,
very quickly, water heater went and flooded the hallway and some of the walls inside in the building. So they had to drain and clean up and repair the plasterboard.
Right.
Michael, was that covered by any warranty or insurance?
Not really, no.
Okay.
So it says the estimated project cost approximately $20,000, dumpster on site. Is that accurate? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And there's also another permit here, project cost of $5,000. Give me a second. C-2418. So we have C-2418, C-2421, and that ought to do it for those two. Okay. So, you all set?
At least one question.
Okay, go ahead.
If, I don't know, maybe Andrew could answer it. I don't see Fred Russell here, but in regards to this, has they done a review of the cause of this? What was it,
There was
the hot water heater, I
hot
think it
water
was?
heater
Have
exploded.
they reviewed all the rest of the hot water heaters and everything like that?
I mean, Andrew Stewart, Building Commissioner. I mean, hot water heaters, they kind of go whenever they want. Granted, there is a lifespan on some of those, but I believe facilities is kind of, they're always looking at that. We do yearly inspections of all the schools. So we're usually walking through those areas and checking out the water heaters, checking out the mechanical rooms. Mostly what we're looking for when we do those is really the life safety stuff, making sure that they've got the extra sprinkler heads, that they've got the fire extinguishers, the emergency lighting and everything. We generally are not inspecting to see the integrity of the water tank, especially where that's more of a plumber's situation. So generally, that's kind of water heaters go until they fail. I mean, just like they do in a residential situation. In this case, it failed. There was a little bit of flooding. The two permits are one for the demolition. We had Service Master come in, I believe, and they cut about a foot up of the sheetrock that had been damaged and took out, there was some insulation in there. They took that all out. They tested it for moisture, and then they sprayed an agent in there that will act to prevent any mold growing. The Board of Health was there to inspect that, as well as the building inspector. And then the second permit is for closing back up the walls and reinstalling the insulation and baseboard.
In the water, was there an anti-rod and that helps prevent decay or the rusting and all that? Something?
I'm not that familiar with, any additives or whatever that would stop.
In the water heaters?
Yeah.
Yes, I know those can be generally replaced from time to time to help prolong the life of the water heater, so I wasn't too sure if that's been done or not, so I appreciate it, Andrew, thank you.
No problem.
Madam Chair, if I
Yes,
may.
please.
The other thing that Fred's doing when the new water heater is installed, it will have a safety pan under it. So as we replace the water heaters, safety pans are being added to them all.
Is it, going to be a drain?
Yeah, so it's like
attached to
some
it?
people have them for their washing machine.
Correct. I
So the
heard-
thing sits right in the center of it, and the lip's about yay high to
Right,
capture the
so
water.
you'll have a pan there, but it's going to be able to drain anywhere?
It will drain out into a drain. Yeah.
It will?
Into a floor drain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All set? All right. This is number 11, and this is the discussion and vote on request to waiving the fees at Furnace Brook Middle School. And the board moves to waive 2 commercial building permit fees for the Furnace Brook Middle School for the emergency repairs and restoration for recent water damage. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to waive the 2 fees.
Okay. Number 12. Thank you, Andrew. Have a nice night.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, very quickly,
Yes,
this
sir.
is a new form, and the town just has to approve the form. This is what will be used in 2024 for seasonal licenses.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's blank, just in case anyone's wondering why it's blank.
Yeah, I asked earlier. So this is just, I'm gonna just make the motion for that certification, okay. The board moves to vote and sign the ABCC Seasonal Renew Certification for the year 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote.
Okay. Number 12, was it? Number 13 is the discussion and vote on application for temporary liquor license, Marshfield Hills General Store. And everything was in order according to my review. Anything you'd like to add? Steve?
No, thank you.
Eric?
I wasn't, I'd like to say that the diagram they printed here,
I know,
I
it's
wasn't
not
too
what
happy with. I did relay that to our town administrator, and hopefully, going forward, people bring something that can be more detailed in regards to how they're doing things. I do have a question, though. Is it common in regards to us voting on something and then going with the pending sign-off? I mean, shouldn't the sign-off come first and then go
It's
before the
always,
select board?
it's always pending.
Good question. But
Sometimes they're already in the packet, but it's just standard language in the motions.
Could we reverse that process if it was all right with the
it would
board?
take, because as the process evolves, in my opinion, the timing to get all those approvals would take out time in the actual application process to get things done.
And if they don't get the approval, they don't get the license. This is a check-off, so they
I
come in
hear,
and
I
get the
see
license.
what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
but-
what I'm saying, is like, we're putting time in on these items here, but then all of a sudden, if they can't get the license for some reason, then we
Well,
just
at least
blew our
they-
time apart, you know?
Yeah, but that's the process, in my opinion.
It's always been over 20.
No, all right.
We're
I was-
opening the floor up for them to do the work to gain what they need to do. So, but we're saying it's okay, in our opinion, for this to occur on this particular date with these conditions and parameters.
No, I see it.
See what I'm saying? Okay.
I don't disagree. I just,
Good question.
it seems like it's a,
It's,
It's
yeah, you would
reversed to me
think
in
that
a
the
way.
select board would have everything else
And then-
before it comes to
and-
us, but it's not always.
And
the
if I
case.
may, Madam Chair.
Sure.
Mr. Kelly, and the ones that we do for like vitula licenses and other types of licenses, some of those have a requirement that their real estate taxes have to be paid. So they get a list, and then Kate and Jenna, when they come in, if they're missing something, they don't get the license until they actually move very quickly when they know it's gonna hold up their event.
yeah, well, that's where I look at this, is that they would
Yeah.
go through the other departments, get the approvals from them, then bring it to us, and then we could be the final one, but, I'm good with it the way it is right now, so
Okay,
I'm not
thank
gonna.
you. All right, so the board moves to approve the outdoor temporary wine and malt beverage license for Tish Adams for the Marshfield Hills General Store, located at 165 Prospect Street, for May 25th and May 26th, from 12 noon till 5 p.m. for the North River Arts Festival. The MHGS will be having a barbecue on those days, pending sign-off by the MPD, MFD, BOH, Building Department, and copy of the liquor liability insurance being sent into the Select Board office. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
All right,
Excellent. Number 14, discussion and vote on application for one-day liquor license and one-day entertainment license, 42nd Parallel Brewing Company.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes,
to
I was gonna-
Mr. Kelly's point,
Yeah.
this person did a nice job. They sent
Yeah,
their,
absolutely. No,
this is how they should be.
yes, this is what I was looking for, is that a detailed
Yeah.
diagram shows where
Yes.
they're doing. I think it helps in the long way of themselves and ourselves as well,
Yes.
yes.
So this particular enterprise is This is the second time, correct me if I'm wrong, that they've been in front of us.
That is correct. The first time was they did the Marshfield Education Foundation St. Patrick's Day Road Race.
Right, so this particular site may need to go into the ZBA if they're coming in front of us on a consistent basis, so perhaps you could reach out to them.
I will.
And ask them to
File with ZBA for
file
site
with
plan approval.
ZBA, and this is probably the last time
Right.
we'll be, yeah, okay, thank you. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Eric?
I did. Who's gonna answer? You, Mike? You may answer the
Why don't you
question?
put them to me, and then I'll.
Okay,
I'll-
okay,
yep,
all right.
Yep, sure. Oh, okay. Was he there?
I think he was there. I think he was there. Colin, is Paul up? We can't see the names up there. You see it?
Paul
Paul
S-C-H, Shio?
This is the only slide.
No, but up on the Zoom.
On the
Yeah.
Zoom,
Yeah,
Can we take the slide down and just go to the Zoom?
I don't have his
He
phone.
was on earlier.
He was on earlier.
He
Okay.
was.
So he's gone?
Yeah.
All right, you put the,
You can put the slide back.
yeah, the slide, thank you. All right, so what I was just inquiring, just seeing where the boundaries are. Are they pushing people out to the sidewalk in regards to that area?
So
Into the
I
street?
understood it would be ropes, a barrier with cones is what I understood. I wasn't there during the last event that they had, but we also didn't receive any complaints. But if you'd like to.
There's a narrative, so
Thank
just if I
you. Go
quickly, it
ahead.
says, please see attached plan showing access and egress, enter and exit, prevent patrons from leaving with alcohol. We will ensure staff are manning the exits and the entrance and ensure no beer cups leave the designated area. What type of fencing and barriers? We use cones used in the picture with rope to ensure the entire beer garden is roped off. Placement of bar, chair, and table, see attached document. Mostly standing room with a couple of high tabletops. 42nd parallel brewing will be supplying 2 porta potties for the event to ensure guests have lavatory access. And all alcohol servers will be tips certified and copies on hand for the event. Number of people in the roped-off area to be between 50 and 75 people.
The thing that I noticed, Michael, was that estimate of number of persons who will attend was 100 to 200, and the roped-off area was separate.
Madam Chair, may I get a point of clarification?
No, sir.
I just want to know the address.
Oh, yes, sir. Just a second, it's right at the corner.
25 Dyke Road.
25 Dyke Road, thank you. 25 Dyke Road is the address of this proposed motion, which is listed here as well. Address of licensed premise, 25 Dyke Road, Marshfield, Mass. Event description, beer garden. Checks have been paid. And it's entirely outdoor. Anything to add?
No, thank you.
Anything else to add?
Please.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
go ahead.
my first question was, are they pushing people out in the street in regards to walkers, in regards to where the barricade is?
They, according to their plan, that's the layout of the parking lot. If you go down there, just so people to put it into perspective, this is the Crowley property. And they used to have like a mattress company.
Yeah.
At one time, there was a liquor store there. Now I think there's I can't think of the name of the business, but they sell all Marshfield memorabilia and stuff, or at least they used to.
Yep.
So they're using that parking lot. So there really isn't a defined sidewalk, so.
I understand there's no defined, but the whole thing is that where I see it, I'm looking at it, it looks like they're pushing people onto the shoulder where, you get the, whatever lane there is before you hit the main road. So I was a little concerned with that. I would request that the police department just look into that.
I
in
believe
regards to-
they replied and,
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I was looking at the diagram. Of course,
Yeah.
I don't believe they had, we're looking at something like this, and now
I
it
think
kind of is a
this
little more
is-
observable that,
yes, I'm
for
with you.
pedestrians and all that, especially even the customers there, as they egress and enter the place.
Well, it's not a defined site plan.
And so, parking, how are they doing parking? Like, where they,
So folks would have to park in the Esplanade, they would have to park in the town parking lot if they have a beach sticker.
if they have a beach sticker? Okay. All right, so in order to park, oh yeah, because it's gonna be right at the beach time, right, so they need a beach sticker to park there, okay. Actually, I think is there another, thing, we
It's
got the
an
music?
entertainment,
Yeah,
it's
is that separate or is it
entertainment as
with it?
It's two separate motions.
It is two separate motions, okay, so I'm good with
Okay.
this first motion.
Okay.
And just, Madam Chair, if I
Yes,
may,
sir.
this is a great example. Mr. Kelly raised good points
Yes,
about the sidewalks.
absolutely.
This is why we request that after they do like one or two events, they go through the ZBA process to get site plan approval, where everything is dictated. But when we do this motion, we can request that they maintain a buffer between the street and the parking lot.
Yep, which I would recommend. Okay. All right. Ooh, just
Okay.
pen. Yeah, I just started to drop my pen, I'm throwing things here. Okay. So this is number 14. There are two separate motions for this. The outdoor temporary wine and malt beverage, I'd like to add to this as a condition that the roped-off area to separate the buffer between the public and the street be identified and clearly marked with the Marshfield Police Department traffic agent advising that and confirming that. Okay? All right, so with that being said, I'd like, the board moves to approve an outdoor temporary wine and malt beverage license for Paul Shiley of Kingston for a beer garden by 42nd Parallel Brewing Company for May 24th, 2024, from 1 PM till 6.
May 25th.
I'm sorry, May 25th, 2024, from 1 PM till 6 PM at 25 Dyke Road, Marshfield, pending sign-off by the MPD, as I just described with those conditions, Marshfield Fire Department, Board of Health, Building Department, and a copy of the liquor liability insurance being sent into the Select Board's office. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
All right,
All right.
Unanimous vote.
Motion number 2, which involves the entertainment license. The board moves to approve an outdoor temporary entertainment license for Paul Shiley of Kingston for live music at the Beer Garden located at 25 Dyke Road for 100 to 200 people for May 25th from 1 PM to 6 PM pending sign-off by the Marshfield Police Department and Marshfield Fire Department.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in, Madam
Go.
Chair, Mr. Kelly has.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
that's all right. In regards to music, is there a certain decibel level they have
Yeah,
to
there are
maintain?
bylaws that need to be maintained. I don't have the bylaw off the top of my
All right.
head, but there are, so,
So, all right, so they have to maintain the music at a certain
Yes,
decibel.
yes.
I'm good to go.
okay. So the board moves to approve an outdoor temporary entertainment license for Paul Shiley of Kingston for live music at the Beer Garden located at 25 Dyke Road for 100 to 200 people from May 25th, from 1 PM to 6 PM, pending sign-off by the Marshfield Police Department, Marshfield Fire Department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
All right,
Unanimous vote to approve the entertainment license.
Okay, moving on, number 15, discussion and vote on application for 5 one-day liquor licenses at the historic Winslow House. And I didn't see anything out of the usual for this. We do a lot within the Winslow House. Mike, would you like to add anything to this?
Yes, Jack Griffin, who's the president of the Winslow Society, is doing fundraisers. He has 5 fundraisers that he's applying for alcohol licenses for. And the first one is a spring fair market, June 9th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And horticultural, agricultural artists and artisans, working crafts, etc. Admission is free. Then their second event is Taylor Swift impersonator concert, June 21st, 7 to 10 p.m. And it's part of their summer series, and they'll be selling alcohol. Midnight at the Masquerade on July 19th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And Surrey Rose, August 16th, 7 to 10 p.m. Get ready to embrace the spirit of pink and Barbie. I guess they want people to dress up in pink. And then finally, the end of their events culminates with the 18th Century Tavern Night, Friday, October 14th, from 7 to 10 p.m.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm all set with this.
No questions.
Eric?
Good.
All right. Discussion and vote on application for 5 one-day liquor license for the historic Winslow House. And the motion is, the board moves to approve 5 temporary outdoor liquor licenses for Jack Griffin, president of the Winslow House, located at 634 Careswell Street, for fundraising for the following events. Dates and times: June 9th, 2024, from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. for Spring Fair and Market. June 21st, 2024, from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. for Taylor Swift Impersonator Concert. July 19th, 2024, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. for Midnight at the Masquerade. August 16th, 2024, from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. for Soiree Rose. October 4th, 2024, from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. for 18th Century Tavern Night. Pending sign-off from the MPD, MFD, Building Department, and BOH. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the 5 temporary outdoor liquor licenses.
Thank you. So now we're moving on to number 16. Discussion and vote on application for 4 one-day entertainment licenses, Friends of the Marshfield Animal Shelter. I also reviewed this and didn't see anything out of the ordinary, and 20 June 8th, it would be a rain date. No, I'm sorry, June 8th is the event, rain date June 21st, July 13th, rain date July 20th, August 3rd, rain date August 10th, September 7th. So each of these have rain dates identified for them. Did I miss anything? Nope. All right. Eric, you all set?
On this, I was just, this could be the same thing with regards to this, need a beach sticker to get into the beach parking lot, the park?
No, so this is done, this will be after hours, I believe. Let me just double check. I thought it said
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
The beach stops checking stickers at 6 p.m., right?
Yep.
6 p.m. to 8:30.
Yep. Fire has no issues. Police has no, there's no.
All right,
issues.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right. So, number 16, the board moves to approve 4 outdoor temporary entertainment licenses for the Friends of the Marshfield Animal Shelter Incorporated. Vicki Lynch, President Treasurer, for the fundraiser events to be held in the Wrexham Beach parking lot for June 8th, 2024, with a rain date of June 21st. Then July 13th, 2024, with a rain date of July 20th. Then on August 3rd, 2024, with a rain date of August 10th. And then September 7th, 2024, with a rain date of September 13th. For the following hours, 6 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. These 4 concerts will include dancing by patrons, live music, and amplification to raise funds for the animal shelter, pending sign-off from the MPD, Beaches, MFD, BOH, and the Building Department. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve.
Okay, so we did number 17. We're going to move to number 18. Okay. Number 18, discussion and vote on request for permission to declare surplus veteran services. And I also.
And then, Madam Chair, this is the
Yes.
standard that comes
Yeah.
before, this is,
This
you
is
know,
the first time
furniture
Eric's-
that's beyond its life.
Eric's been introduced to the beauty that becomes what we see on a, so this is the surplus. And we see this type of thing quite often. In the course of our duties, just so you know. Any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Eric?
Just the, when you mean surplus, what does it mean, like, to be sold or
out of
something?
So that's part of the law, so surplus, it doesn't have to be sold because there's really, these are desks that are broken, they're end of life, so if it's good furniture, so under the state law, you have the option if they're, you know, we had some chairs that we put out for nonprofits in the town of Marshfield if they want them. The caveat is they have to come and pick them up on a set time. But, you know, this furniture, you can see these desks are, these were already passed, hand-me-down, so they're in pieces, so you're not able to just throw stuff away. The select board, executive branch of government, has to vote on it being destroyed or surplus. In this particular case, there's nothing to really surplus.
So, you piece it out, besides what can be recycled and what can't be,
Correct.
okay?
Yep. Okay, so the board moves to approve the request of the Veterans Services Office to declare the attached furniture surplus or to be disposed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
All right,
Unanimous vote to approve.
Okay. Moving on to number 19, discussion and vote on request for permission to accept 6 donations for the Veterans Services. The board, well, I'll just introduce this as well. So we also are very lucky in this town that so many people are very generous to a lot of our organizations and committees, and the Veterans Service Office is one of them. And I applaud, again, all of the individuals that are willing to take money out of their pockets and put it in a worthy cause. And this is a very worthy cause. And this has to be accepted by the board before it is accepted and part of the funds available. So is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, thank you.
Eric, you all set?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. The board moves to accept the following donations on behalf of the Veterans Services Office. $50 from Susan Sloan, $100 from David and Mary Murray in memory of Justin Murray, $200 from the American Legion Post 88, $250 from the Korean War Veterans Association, $500 from the Korean War Veterans Association, $500 from the Good Neighbor Fund. These donations will be used to provide assistance for health and welfare, morale, and/or the financial need of our veterans and their dependents. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to accept these donations for the Veteran Services Office.
Okay. Moving on to number 20. We have a couple left, so hang in there. Discussion and vote on the request for acceptance of donation for refreshments for 2 town events, care of Michael Maresco. Michael, would you like to share
So,
with us?
yes, so I supplied coffee and donuts to the Trails Committee for their private sector people that volunteered from Satsuit Technology out of Braintree, and they cleaned the Webster Trail. So I did coffee and donuts for them, and that was $89.35. And also, we had the Earth Day celebration out here, so I donated cookies and lemonade, napkins and all that stuff for the reception following the planting of the trees.
Okay, another great town event, and I know that there were several people that came out and saw the Earth Day reception and enjoyed the treats, and
The dogwood trees are in bloom
Yeah.
right now.
I saw it's a bright pink.
One on this side
I
and
didn't
then
see where the other one.
one in that corner right there.
Oh, okay, excellent. Any questions?
No.
Eric, you all set?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. So the board moves to approve 2 donations from Michael Maresco, one in the amount of $89.35 for refreshments for the Trails Committee and the Stewart Technologies volunteers who came to help clean the trails, and the second in the amount of $71.88 for the Earth Day reception following the tree plantings. Do I have a second?
Steve.
Second, sorry.
Motion's been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous to accept the
Okay, It's
donation.
riveting here. No, I appreciate you guys hanging in there. So now we're on number 21, discussion and vote on requests for permission to hold free morning yoga sessions at Green Harbor Beach on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays during the summer. So the times were outlined, and this is not the first time that she has been in front of us for this. It's been well received. But Michael, would you like to just add
Yes,
to this?
this is
Yes.
actually, Madam Chair, this is actually Bill Savatelli's 8th year of doing this.
Yes, okay.
He collects canned goods, it's a free yoga. He collects
I said
canned goods
she,
and
I'm sorry.
he donates. His wife sometimes also participates.
Okay.
And they donate the canned goods to the food pantry. And it's from 7:30 to 8:30. He also works in tandem with the Green Harbor Lobster Pound. The Philpotts have been very generous to allow people to park there to go over to the beach and do their yoga.
Okay, it's a fun event. All right, so without, are you all set? All set, Art?
I'm good.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yep.
The board moves to approve free yoga classes at Green Harbor Beach by Bill Salvatelli for 3 full moon yoga classes dependent on the full moon and the beach yoga sessions beginning in June on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, and Sunday mornings from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Bill will work on parking options with the Green Harbor Lobster Pound. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve yoga.
Okay, number 22, which is a discussion and vote to amend Troop 424's recycling drive date from June 1st, 2024 to June 8th, 2024, previously approved by the Select Board on February 12th, 2024. Any comments or questions? Okay. Eric, you're all set?
I'm good.
All right. The board moves to approve the request for Troop 424 to change their recycling date from June 1st, 2024 to June 8th, 2024 for their bottle and can recycling at the Town Hall parking lot. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to change 424's dates for recycling from June 1st to June 8th.
Excellent. And finally, number 23 is a vote to approve minutes. Eric, you weren't here, so you're just abstaining.
Let's abstain from it, yes.
Okay. The board moves to approve the minutes from April 22nd, 2024 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Nay. Just kidding. Aye.
Aye. 2-0 to accept the
I'm not
minutes.
supposed to hit it, but I'm going
Well, you're pretty
Come
fast,
on.
Mr. Darcy, yes.
Come on. All right. All right. Thank you. And thank you to our audience. And congratulations to our new board member. You did a terrific job.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Great questions. And just need to follow up with these, whatever you need. Our folks are here to help you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Help us all.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Ms. Fidler?
Aye.
Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to adjourn the meeting of May 6th.
All right, so we're good. Thank you.